that, the Cataloguers Guild that we've got to go. Then we've got to go to Pioneers Guild and then get paid from the Pioneers Guild, and then
Not to be confused with the Pie and Ears Guild, where they both make pies and accept ears.
It's an oddly specific business.
Yeah,
model.
yeah,
They
very
hold up surprisingly well.
Yeah.
who knew? The economy was for pioneers. Who knew? Yeah.
You wanted
Cool.
you wanted
Speaking
ears with your pies, sir.
Yes.
No. The ears are separate. Thank you. They mostly do like piercings and things.
While eating pie.
Yes, it's actually a surprisingly good market because after you get stabbed, people just like a good pie.
It's diversified revenue. So
Mm.
that's the way. Oh, speaking of getting paid, we have like 50 platinum we need to divvy up.
I'm back.
Oh, yeah.
Did we get 50 platinum?
That
Found
was
it.
from the chest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have 2 bags of 25 each. But I've been holding on to the 2 bags because we decided it wasn't worth splitting it up there. But
That's fair.
yes, we should. Now that we're home, we should
Yeah.
either divide that evenly or find some other use for it.
Well, you can do that in the session. So, hello everybody and welcome to Crabby D&D. I am here with Kat,
Oh, hi.
Kay. He's around here somewhere. Kay.
Hi.
Okay. He is here somewhere. We'll get to that when we get there. Kirv.
Hello.
Romulus.
Guten Abend, mein Freunden.
And Vinny.
Hello.
Yes, though, for those of you who are watching and going forward, yes, there will be a hole on the overlay. I'm sorry if it annoys you. I'm too lazy to move everything up one. It's just how I
put
am.
different pictures in there every week.
Just well, just put me in there. The DM.
I was actually going to say just a picture of a random rubber duck.
I'll add the goose to the party. There we go. Oh, yeah. You know what? You know what? I'll just fill it with a question mark for next time. I might even do that on break. We'll have to see. But for the stream, this is what you're gonna have to deal with for now. But yes, I'm here with all of my friends, if you would like to call them that.
Not all of us. All
Excuse
of us.
me?
There are quite a few of us out there in the distance.
Whoa, what?
Hey, look, Kay's back.
Friends.
Right, I think we shall begin, shall we?
Sure.
Sure.
He calls us friends. Really, it's torture victims.
Yeah.
Yeah. Emotional punching bags. Jokes aside, we love you, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with that out of the way and the potential difficulties going forward increased. Welcome back, everybody, with the exception of Damian. We'll miss you, and we look
Fuck
forward to
Damian.
your return, but you'll also get the reprieve of not having to worry about the danger going forward.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, let's remind ourselves of what happened here last week. Our party of Cat, Kay, Kirv, Romulus, and Vinny had made their preparations to head back to Drell, with both Cat and Kay unconscious after a eventful night. After encountering some mist fae, Romulus went out of his way to travel into the swamp, off the beaten path, after the party noticed what looked to be a large creature covered in mosses and reeds. Damian, still with them at this time, noted that the creature was similar to that of an Avamore, a guardian of abundant life such as forests, swamps, or general landscapes. To him, this creature was a danger, but to Romulus, it was an opportunity.
A friend.
With a few successful natural 20s, the party was able to help this being, restoring its mental prowess and memories, with Aloe, the guardian of the Grave Wallow Gorge, bestowing its gifts upon the party and restoring some of their members. Cat and Kay were 2 of these individuals, restored to a certain bearing, now conscious but exhausted from the whole endeavour. They are now awake, and with the aid of that, the party managed to make it back to Drell in a slightly quicker pace, despite some lost time. Upon arrival, however, Damian was approached by a courier from the Order of Abbots, who handed him a letter of return, requesting his urgent presence back at Balloon, with the party saying farewell to Damian, who made a fresh dash for the caged elevators, and the party now stands at the precipice of the Ivy Hills, also known as Drell. As Damian rushes off from you all, the shadow of Zaker's casting a mighty silhouette across the landscape behind you, you all stand at the entrance to Drell, the mouldy yet sturdy walkway marking the entrance from the northern side of the Ivy Hills, and the base of Zaker's. It is a little past noon, given your a little bit of time lost and having to sleep during a rather inopportune time, but it is otherwise lightly cloudy at the moment, with the occasional croak of toads and the mist otherwise clearing up and the rain no longer falling so as heavily. Nearby individuals are currently looking at you as you stand on the precipice of this, of Drell, as Damian otherwise leaves you, being a beacon of disturbance through as he otherwise rushes past. What would you like to do?
Damian's running.
Yes.
Fireball. I'm joking. I don't even know it.
I'm rolling the dex save.
Oh.
That would be a
No.
9 by his standards. Reflexively, he dives under the ground, but nothing
I
happens.
don't even know who Fireball.
The crimes of cat.
Fireball Damian. Alright.
Fireball. It's in the shape of an apple.
Contemplated murder.
Yeah. The room wasn't even too small this time. We were outside.
I'd like to think that she casts Fireball and it just goes out a little way and then fizzles as it enters the dampener's radius and then all of a sudden doesn't do anything.
Well, Sijania's limp. I've got no way of casting anything.
It'll be a wonky fireball.
Wand. Well, at that point, I'll probably just hit Zaker's. Oh, it's okay. It's fire.
Yeah, you
Back
just-
to my questions.
Just cast it out of your wonky wand and it just goes just into the sky, completely off target. Here we go. Crimes of Cat document.
Cast fire.
Contemplated murder, brackets Damian. Alright. Carry on.
I can get behind this plan.
Oh. So. Yep.
Are we following the plan that you previously set out and discussed before,
Yes.
or...?
It's the
Before.
one that Cat uses that spell, right?
No, I don't know. So, I can't. Before we go up, I need to hide
Yeah.
some things. Cat's got the jade, hasn't she? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Alright, I am going to cast with my wand and let's see where this ends up. Pocket bag.
Okay. How far are you outside of Joel? Are you were just on the precipice. Are you like outside? Are you making your way in as you're casting this?
I'm assuming as Damian's run off and I've apparently attempted to murder him. So we're probably just outside, about to head in.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me wild magic.
Oh,
Because it is a level spell.
excellent. Let's get this off to a bang. I might actually fireball in the end anyway.
Yep.
Oh, thank God.
Nope, you're alright.
Okay. Alright. Yeah, so
What level's the spell?
second.
Okay. So that just misses.
That's exciting.
Because you're not using Sijania, your DC goes up by 1. Because you're
Oh,
being
cool.
forced to use your wand.
Well, I'm glad I don't have to roll disadvantage for being exhausted, because that's not how magic works. Alright, so I am going to...
I'm going to check that's not how that works.
That's not how that works. I've declared it. Yeah, Please don't. Please don't check. Chris. No. It's not.
Yes.
It doesn't count as a check, therefore exhaustion would not affect it.
God. Huzzah. Right, I'm going to cast Pocket Bag on... Does it have to be on something, or can it just be...
The component would be that you can create the pocket bag, but in this instance, if you have a bag that you can use for it, then it can move with the bag.
Okay, so I can't just, like, use the wand to sort of, like, tear a little opening.
Yeah, you can. It's just
Okay.
then that if you were to try and move with the bag still open, it can't. So you then have to cast the spell
Close
again
it.
later to open it up.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, with the wand, I'm going to score a perfectly straight line
Mhm.
with the wand into the air to open up a very wonky and wiggly line for a pocket bag.
Mhm.
Stupid thing can't even stay straight for that.
As
Okay,
you do, it's a weird sensation to watch for the rest of you as this line is drawn just through the air as straight as it can be. As you watch as tiny lines begin to peel back, as almost the fabrics of reality begin to fold slightly and begin to tear open. Tiny, almost like crystalline outlines of this and energy begin to rupture and pull as the space interior is otherwise glistening with kind of this light radiance.
I just start vomiting from watching this.
What? You okay?
Oh, fucking space.
I'm back.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm seeing this distress that has been caused. I'm going
I'm
to.
kidding. I'm kidding. Fine.
I'm going to put the jade into there and then close the
Okay.
opening.
And Kay, you had yours on you, correct?
What's up? Sorry, I just got back.
The jade on you. You had it on you, on your person? Or were you giving it to Cat?
Yeah, I have it in my hiding spot that I told you about.
Hiding spot was
Up in the butthole.
In my fish.
in your fish, that's right.
Oh, that's so much worse.
I can't. Yeah, it really is, isn't it?
That fish is. It probably doesn't look well at this point, so
No.
I don't think they'd want to touch it.
Okay. So. Okay. You cast that, placing the jade inside. It wouldn't exceed the volume that you can make.
Nope,
And you dismiss the entrance, and it disappears. Now with pocket bag, it allows you to reopen it for up to an hour, doesn't it?
It said I've got duration 4 hours.
Oh, okay. So you can reopen it again for free within that 4-hour period.
Cool.
It doesn't
Cool.
have to be in this spot. I will note.
Okay.
It can just be anywhere.
Cool. All right. Excellent. Well, I'm good to go.
Indeed, let us head up into the horrifying city of no good food.
That is awesome food up there.
It's all cold.
Warm?
Well, maybe you should try some cold food. It's good. You should
I
get
am-
used to it.
The only acceptable cold food is sushi.
That's all Kay's really been eating here.
What's sushi?
Raw fish sliced on compact glutinous rice, often with seaweed wrappings to make what is known as a maki, or alone without the seaweed would be called a nigiri.
Kirv didn't understand 80% of that.
Tasty fish,
Hmm.
tasty food.
Raw fish.
Chris, is there fish where I come from?
Basically, if you
Not
live by
really,
the
no.
coast, you find
No? Okay. What's a fish?
as many ways of cooking fish as possible.
You've
eventually you
experienced
stumble on
fish.
just
Oh, what? The stuff in
Kay's
in
bag.
Kay's bag. Oh.
Yes, there
okay.
was a fish in there.
Okay.
So are we going?
Well, let's go then.
Guess so.
Oh, we have to pay to go up, don't we?
Yep. It's a silver per person.
Money, money, money.
Daylight fucking robbery.
Well,
Kirv just
Uh,
pats her pockets and sort of looks at the others like, ah.
1, 2,
I'll give
3,
her a
4,
silver.
5.
Here you go.
Thanks. I left all my money back home.
Kay
What do
just
you
has
use
a.
for money in hell?
Sorry.
What is money like in hell?
Does it have wings?
I think you guys are being culturally insensitive now.
Kay has a look of realization on his face as he realizes that his
Do you mind
bank just walked
explaining
off.
how my questions about your currency in hell is insensitive? Because I would genuinely love to hear the explanation.
Well, it doesn't have wings.
I never said it had
You
wings. That's all
didn't.
them.
No. That's all them.
I apologize. So, what does your money look like?
Not as pretty as this. Sort of looking at the silver.
Okay.
Don't suppose you have any on you, do you? I'd be quite interested to see it.
No, I don't have any on me.
It's a pity.
I was very much just whooshed from where I was. Very little time to prepare.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, she was just dragged here. So she's
Fair
like,
enough,
"Alright,
yeah.
I'm going on an adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And off she run off.
Uh,
Well, we'll help you. Don't worry. Right. Shall we head up and hand all this in? Get everything done.
Indeed.
Okay. Heading to the hang cages and proceeding to get to them. There is a small queue as it is getting closer to the more rush hour times. You can see individuals who look to be various workers for the nearby fields. The otherwise will look to be kind of clay pit miners or anything of a job that would be down here. Some bakers, some cooks, some car owners and couriers. There's all manner of individuals, and they're all
Makers, why even the candlestick makers, they're not
Yes.
doing very well in this city.
You'd be surprised. As you're otherwise queuing up for quite some time, I would like each of you to go ahead and roll me a stealth check.
Oh, I've got disadvantage on this, haven't I?
Those with exhaustion have
Let's
disadvantage.
go. Just as bad as I imagined it.
Apologies, what was that?
Stealth check, please.
Ah, yes, stealth.
Okay,
My
so cat
greatest of abilities.
7, Kirv
Yeah.
18.
18. Was that with disadvantage?
Do I have exhaustion?
You had
No.
one?
Oh,
No.
so no, okay. Oh no, that's right. Yeah, sorry. You and Vinny don't have disadvantage anymore. Sorry.
Thank you.
Romulus.
11.
Okay. Vinny.
22.
22 and K.
10.
Okay. For the most part, Kirv and Vinny, you two settle in a bit more and a bit more. Despite appearances, you blend in a lot more around here. People don't seem to notice you as much. They're a bit more accustomed to devilishly blooded individuals. Meanwhile, the Beastlandic folk, on the other hand, catch a lot more attention. There's a lot more of people keeping an eye on you, constantly watching, and possibly individuals who have seen you come through here recently. And with the local traffic, people are keeping their distance, but they're not like giving up their spot in the queue for you. And if anything, people are muttering about you behind your backs, for those of you who have a decent passive perception. Kay, on the other hand, you're not necessarily being noticed for that, but there are people keeping a wide berth of you as your bag is proceeding to smell rather rancid at this current time.
I plan to clean it out at some point.
This is true, but it seems your interaction with the fish in order to hide the jade has brought on some rather nasty smells.
Yeah.
So this is going to affect your other foods as well in there, just as a general note.
Yeah, I'll have to replace everything that's in there. I know.
Not everything. Cheese will keep. everything.
Cheese will be fine.
The cheese will be fine, and the fungus that's at the bottom will be fine. Everything else that's above the cheese will probably be ruined. So just keep that in
Even
mind.
the antenna?
The antenna will be fine. No, anything that's more of a monster part, I'm going to leave unaffected. It's mainly things like rations, for example. If you have any of those in there, they're gone.
Oh, the rations are below.
Oh, okay. In which case they're covered in mold. Because if I remember correctly, you were trying to cultivate the mold in there.
I was cultivating one thing of one mushroom.
Okay, so yeah, that's overtaken the bottom given the recent humidity level and the inactivity of the cheese wheel being moved around. So
That's fine.
Yeah.
Literally everything in there is rationed.
yeah. Okay.
Even the mushrooms are rationed.
So
Right, of course.
everything in there that's supposed to be moldy is fine.
Yes.
Yes.
Everything in there that isn't supposed to be moldy is now rotten, except for the cheese. So, except any non-perishables, of course. But otherwise, slowly but surely making your way after about half an hour up to the edge of the hang cages, the guard gets to you. And I would like, so all of those who rolled a 10 or below, which was that just K or was that
It was just me.
just
Yes, I
you?
got an 11,
Okay.
motherfucker!
I got a 7.
And
Oh,
double-
you got a 7. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, the 2 with the jade. That's fucking hilarious.
Oh, okay, they've got no chance of getting to my jade.
Hold on, I need to double check the passive perception of the average guard. Because I can't remember if it's 10 or 12. I've said that and it's like, did I remember incorrectly? NPCs. Anybody with 12 or below. So Romulus, this would also catch you, sorry.
Ah.
Okay. So in this instance, all you three are going to be checked.
Classic.
In this instance, Cat, you have hidden the jade within a completely different extra-dimensional plane. The individual is unable to locate or find it. Romulus, looking over you and just generally giving you a check. Is there anything on your person that I should be concerned about that would be dangerous and or illegal? I believe you disposed of all your drugs on the first time through the city, so I don't think there's anything about on that particular parameter. Is there anything else I should worry about? Harlan?
Apologies. What?
Is there anything dangerous and or illegal in your bag that I should be concerned about?
I don't think so. I have some giant toad parts, but I don't think that's illegal. There is some war crime dust. I don't think it's illegal. It probably should be, but no one specifically said it's illegal.
War crime dust? Remind me.
Isn't that-
Ground glass, chili powder, salt, iron.
Oh,
filings.
that. Okay.
I'm gonna say, look, I know this sounds shady. I use this to fight off creatures. It's dangerous pocket sand. You're welcome to test it in whatever way you like. Please do not get any in your eyes or breathe or inhale.
Okay, the
It will
individual...
end poorly for you.
The guard does find this bag, and this guard being aware of this kind of has a look, pours a little bit out in their hand and kind of gives it a look over and kind of gives it a little bit of a rub around. They do not injure themselves in any manner, but they do kind of note it and just kind of look at you and ask, just looking at you and Cat and go, you got any credentials for this sort of stuff? I note catalogs.
We're from the Catalogs
From the
Guild, and we
Catalogs
deal with a lot of crazy
Dangerous
creatures.
May I? And kind of puts out his hand
Yeah,
for the
I'll hand
for the
over
catalogs.
my book. Yeah,
Yeah.
book.
Okay.
Do I have a book?
Yeah,
I
you
think-
both have
I think-
books.
Okay, yes, I hand over.
Yeah.
I'll hand over mine, no trouble.
Yeah, he looks over both of them, kind of flipping through, and goes, it seems all in order. That's all right. And, whoa, what is that smell?
I can't help you with that one.
Yeah, it's a lost cause.
He is rolling with disadvantage. Okay. A natural 20 and a natural 1. He goes to look in the bag, and as he looks in, there's a moment of like, "Oh, he's got to be hiding something in here," followed by the deep regret of, "It's not worth it," and so as a result, leaves your bag alone. As the guard looks at it over and just goes, "Oh, be sure to clean that out next time you come through, or I'm throwing that bag away."
Yeah, sorry. Things happened. Ended up unconscious
That
for a day.
sounds pretty rough. Right, well, you're all welcome to go up. The toll, of course, will be 5 silver for your group, if you please.
Okay, have any silver?
So, for those of you who are paying, it is 5 silver. Or
I'll
5
give
silver
my-
total for all of you, or 1 silver each.
I'll give my silver. I've
I
given
will
a
pay my
silver.
silver.
Yeah, so I believe you get... So, Kat, you gave Kirv a silver, so both of you are covered, so that's 2 silver from you. Romulus, you're covering yourself. Vinny and Kay?
I'll cover K and myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any silver.
Okay, fair enough. And the 2 of you are covered. As you otherwise head up through onto the hang cages and are ascended into Zaker's Crossing. For you, Kirv, this is your first time travelling these, and it's a bit strange. Not too strange. You've seen these sorts of devices before. You've seen individuals be trapped in these cages for weeks, months, years in some cases. And as the hang cage lifts, you get a broad sense of the view of where you are. And suddenly your tiny world begins to expand exponentially. As you look out and you see the vast horizon of this gorge that stretches on for miles and miles. You see mountains in the distance, clouds just barely covering their tops. You can see what looks to be a thick undergrowth of mire and marsh on the western side of the bridge, and looking on the other side, underneath the archway of this gargantuan bridge that stretches for miles and miles, you see it continues on and out to what looks to be a very faint blue at the tint, or at the very tip of the gorge where it ends, and it rises up exceptionally far as you begin to be pulled up, and you can see the Ivy Hills or Drell begin to expand, showing the breadth and otherwise density of the population below, as you begin to gauge how much there might be to explore.
How big is this plane?
Well, big. Very big.
Very big. How long would it take to go everywhere?
Longer than most people's lifespan. I mean, this isn't the only place. There's seas, there's
No.
oceans.
Here's the
islands.
question. When you say visit everywhere, do you mean just go through it, or do you mean like take the time to actually look around?
Enough time to find a goose if there is one.
A long time.
Mm-hmm.
Couple centuries minimum.
I don't know if I even live that long.
Well, neither do we, so we'll find out.
Hmm.
We'll either die or we won't.
This isn't just.
Oh wait, I remembered something from my backstory. Oh.
This isn't just gonna be a week trip, is it?
No.
No, it's going to be at least 4 months of bullshit adventuring, and then we'll fight a god or something. And then we'll find your goose.
What's a god again?
What?
What's a god? Kind of like a very angry, goose.
Sounds
Oh
tasty.
dear.
You calling the gods geese?
Yes.
That's gonna work out well for us.
It's very simple. The goose is a noble creature. It is dangerous Yet, when respected, it can provide for others with its eggs, its feathers, its meat. But it holds a darkness in it, a fearsome nature that must be respected or feared. Therefore, gods are geese.
I'd never thought of it that way.
So they're edible.
Oh, everything's edible.
Is it?
Oh, yes, indeed. Just sometimes only once.
Oh, the cosmic geese.
Can Kirv
AKA
have
gods.
a look around to see if there's any crows specifically?
Make me a perception check.
Yeah. That is 6 plus 2.
8. Having a kind of a look around, there are a number of birds, or at least flying things, in the air around, and it's hard to tell whether they're crows, if they're other kinds of birds. I mean, you've only ever seen 1 or 2 kinds of birds at most, so you assume that they're crows. But there's no way of knowing until they get close. This is a strange place, and you've seen all manner of creatures far beyond anything you'd have expected in just the matter of a few days.
I start shouting at the nearest crow.
What do you shout?
I shout, "Oi! You never told me how big this plane was. Where the hell am I meant to start?"
Pardon?
Okay, the
Not
rest of
talking to
you, the rest of you watch as Kirv kind of goes to the edge of the hang cage. It slightly rocks as she does this. The rest of you kind of keeping your ground as best you can, grabbing onto the bars. The guard, who's otherwise escorting you up, very much notes this and just kind of goes to calm you all down as the panic begins to ensue. Slightly, but Kirv just
yes, he's
shouts
panicking.
out in a... just shouts out in a direction towards some flying things. Just out into the air.
Now look at what you've done, Romulus. You've driven the poor girl mad.
This old chicken.
Yeah, that's fucking canon, by the way. Just making that very clear.
Hold on. What have you posted?
I'm not wrong. Vinny. If I haven't... I don't think you can blame just me for this. It was a group effort to drive Kirv insane.
Oh, we're all innocent. It's definitely got to have been you. Huh? Just
Are you sure this
nudging-
isn't another one of your crimes, Cat?
I have done no such thing. On the note of crimes, not
Think
that
the
this is a
rats would
crime.
disagree.
No, there was no rats killed.
Oh,
No, la 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 la
rat
la.
murder denier.
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't do it. No.
There is no war in Basing, so...
There is no war in fasting fucking say. Anyway, yes, you were saying, Cat. Did I do something wrong?
No, I just... Do you know how we can't use magic up here? Like fire magic?
Yeah.
Do you reckon there's a threshold?
Well, it depends. I would imagine that everything has to have an equal and opposite reaction. If I smack a hammer into a shield, if my force is stronger than the shield, my hammer goes through the shield. But if the forces are equal or the shield is greater, my hammer will be repelled.
Oh, that's
Therefore,
fair.
one has to assume that there is a limit, but I doubt it's a limit any of us could reach.
Yeah, but like, say, like, I don't know,
Probably.
multiple fire dragons flew over and thought, I don't like this place, I'm just going to torch it. Like, how many
Well,
crystals would it take to
That's
stop
a common
the fire?
misconception. What dragons breathe is not in fact fire or elemental effects. It's in fact just pure bullshit.
Oh, so they're just screaming bull... What? At us?
No, it's just pure bullshit. It doesn't matter what rules you have, it doesn't apply. Just fucking dragons. That's the answer there. You
You gotta
want to
fuck
know
the
what?
dragons.
Hmm?
You gotta fuck the dragons.
If you wish to fuck dragons, Kirv, I encourage you in your endeavors. I do caution you to be careful. Always make sure you are well prepared, and do not forget the. I'm trying to keep a straight face here, and never forget the benefits of just a nice conversation, rather than explicit actions.
The guard
What
who's
are
with all of
explicit
you,
actions?
the guard who's with all of you, just suddenly turns around and just goes, "What the fuck are you all on about?"
Oh, good! You finally reacted. Excellent.
I've been
yes,
listening this whole time. It's just a bunch of stupid nonsense.
That is accurate, yes. Do you know the
Mhm.
answer? Is there a threshold to what the enchantments around the
I
city can
can't
do?
say I do know, but I know that it's never been broken before.
Oh, so it probably means it's a pretty high threshold. So
Sounds like a
I-
challenge, huh?
no, it does not
No, it
sound
does
like a
not.
challenge.
I wouldn't
No.
go trying. There have been individuals of great power who have tried in the past and failed, so there is that.
Now that, as much as I dislike this city's lack of fire, nothing against you, but I like to cook, and it makes me cranky when I can't.
If you want to cook, there are bakeries and cooking in areas where you can cook below in Drell.
I know, but they're below.
And if you're just looking for food to heat, then you can heat
It's
it
not about the
pretty much
heating, it's
anywhere.
about the It's about the effort. It's about the artistry, man. How the hell does blacksmithing work here? Does that all happen down there as well?
No, that happens up in the city.
How?
Aether fire.
Oh, that bullshit. Yes.
Yeah, blue flames.
Huh. So it
Back
it
in my
heats up
day, we never used to
metal,
have any
but-
of this aether fire. Now that fucking burn, motherfucker. Oh.
Wait, so it heats up metal but not wood? How does that work?
It heats up. It heats up any. I don't know the specifics. It heats up anything other than flesh, and I guess wood counts as flesh or something.
Living matter.
Ah, technicalities. I like it.
I guess.
Fucky too.
It's like blood crystals.
Hold on. The guy goes, yeah, like blood crystals, and just completely knocks over the comment with a natural one. Just kind of just completely goes, oh yeah, good example.
How is he rolling? How are the guards constantly rolling natural ones for everything?
I mean, so far I've rolled with disadvantage, natural 20 and a natural 1, 4 7s and a 1.
Like, so
He's
you just want to get your jade out and just waggle it in front of him and see if he notices. So he could just be like, oh, look, that nice stone.
Yeah, nice stones. Where do you get it from? Can I have a look?
I got it from a spider.
I'll
Got
buy
it from
one.
a
I'll
spider
buy
in a
one off you for a
mine.
copper.
That'll be at least 2 copper. Come on.
Hmm.
Oh.
I'm trying to make fun of business here. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, well, I mean, it's good to know. I mean, ultimately, if you really didn't like the city, I mean, you don't have to use fire. Fire just feels like a bit of a flex, doesn't it, now?
I suppose. The hang chains kind of begins to grind as it gets closer to the top, and as it does, it kind of screeches to a halt, and the guard opens the gate. Come on out, all of you. It's been fun. Hopefully you don't come back here anytime soon. Have a nice day. Next
I
up.
want to insert
Oh.
that. Did he actually enjoy our company?
Go for it.
Have a lovely, lovely time.
Alright.
Take care.
Disadvantage, remember, because you
Oh yeah.
have that.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh. Insight. That's 15.
Okay. It's the most fun he's seen in weeks. But
Aw.
at the same time, he enjoys his job. He doesn't mind having people go up and down on the hang gauges. He gets paid out of it. He seems to enjoy his job, and it's easier than running patrols through the city. And in this instance, he gets to just be a ticket master of one of the many hang cages around the edge. So in this instance, you're the most fun he's had, but at the same time, it shakes up his routine, which for the most part is generally quite relaxing.
I'll bring more friends next time.
There is a weight limit to the hang cages. Next.
Can it carry a giant?
No.
Wait. Aw.
You can barely carry those two. Next.
What about a pygmy giant?
He stops.
guys are
He stops
fat.
asking and has the next lot of people come on.
That's fair enough. Have a nice day. Anyway, let's go get paid.
Okay.
Where should we go first? Cataloguers or pioneers?
Which do you think will be most lucrative?
Well, I mean, the cataloguers won't pay us instantly. That gets transferred into our bank accounts.
Oh yes, and they also only do like the bare minimum if we actually find anything good. Private collectors are the way to go, but it is nice to, be helping others in the long run, I suppose.
True, and we are trying to sell stuff,
Yes, yes. Vinny, this feels like your area of expertise. Please, guide us.
What? What? The cataloguers. What?
I mean, I'd love to help. I feel like they're your contacts.
I mean, we do have to go there and hand in the results. Looking
do.
around really shiftily because Cat is not good at hiding stuff.
Make me a perception check and follow that up with a stealth check if you wish.
Yeah, let's go. Perception and stealth, both with disadvantage.
Would you like me to attempt?
I'll say Cat is leading this, so I'll say you can give her advantage on the stealth, which will cancel out her disadvantage. But
I will
the
disadvantage on the
The
stealth.
deception is a 13, and then the stealth is just a flat roll.
Yep.
That's
Pretty
pretty good.
decent.
that's pretty good.
That's 22.
Looking around and otherwise getting a general gauge of your surroundings, there are people around. No one seems to be necessarily paying direct attention to you. There are people looking in and taking note of your rather odd party of individuals. Now that you've lost Damian and Lloyd, as you otherwise.
Humans.
You've
What a
run
very
you've run
blasphemous
out of
party.
humans. Yeah.
We need to download. We need to buy. Get more. Oh,
What's a download?
we need to download and buy more humans.
Download an
We-
update for
we
Damian
need-
to bring him back.
We
I
need
gotta
new
download,
humans.
download some more dedicated WAM.
Our humans have disappeared.
So, there are people looking at your group as it stands, but for the most part, people aren't necessarily taking in a lot of detail. And if there are individuals who are keeping a more specific eye on you, you don't notice them doing so. They're relatively good at their job if that's the case. However, given that what you're trying to hide is hidden in an extra-dimensional plane, and you're talking in relatively personal group code, you're fairly certain very few would be able to pick up on what details you're putting down, unless they were already in the know.
That much is true. I still think we should go to the cataloguers first, and then we can go to the pioneers.
Remind me which one wanted which?
The cataloguers wanted bits and the stone, and then the pioneers just wanted us to clear the mine.
So, well, I have some too. Probably better to get rid of the stuff first, but Kay would like to look around and see if he can find a decent, not like a decently obscured place where he can be able to get his jade out of the fish and dump the fish.
Roll me an investigation check.
And just... Ooh, good. Investigation, that is a 19.
19. Looking around the general area, you begin to pick up on... There are a few areas that could potentially work for this. Not necessarily, exceptionally quiet areas, but areas that are out of line of sight for a lot of places and individuals that might be onlooking. Otherwise,
I'd
kind of
just-
sidle up to one of them with your party.
I'm going to just kind of like slip away a little bit into a spot where I can make sure nobody can really see me.
Mm-hmm.
Since I am small and we got a bunch of big people in the party, they might pay more attention to them. And I'd like to get my jade out of the fish and dump the fish and raw or not raw, moldy things that aren't supposed to be moldy.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a stealth or sleight of hand check. Just a flat roll, cancelling the disadvantage with the advantage you get from your party being a worthy distraction.
Oh. Either way, it's either way, it's an 11.
11. You get the fish, you turn upside down, you kind of shake it a bit, and the pieces of jade fall out of the mouth of the fish. You count them up. It takes a little bit of work, and at one point you have to stick your hand inside the fish to kind of pull out the last bit of jade, which seems to have gotten stuck. But as you otherwise pull the last bit of jade out, you put them in your pouch, in your bag. They are there. You throw away the mouldy bits and pieces. Your arm stinks of fish. Your arm is covered in bits of fish. And as you kind of go back to the party, you begin to wipe it off. And as far as you're aware, nobody seems to have noticed.
I will be like rinsing my arm and stuff with the last of my water.
Okay.
With all my water from my
Water skin.
water skin.
Yep.
Especially the jade, because you can't really give it for jade that smells like fish.
Okay. Okay, so where are you headed?
Let's go and lighten our pockets first.
Okay, so the cataloguers.
While those guys go there, would it be right if Kirv said, "All right, while you guys are sorting business, I'm gonna go search for a goose."
Probably don't recommend you walk around the city on your own.
Why not? I can handle myself.
Well, it's not you can handle yourself, but it's more the fact that you're new to the area / plane. Question mark. There's a lot of new things, new experiences that could be confusing to someone new.
Well,
Also, you might get
Also,
lost.
we don't want to lose you.
well, that's very sweet, guys. But I have a whole plane to search for this goose, and I can't go home until I find it.
We
So
will
I'm not
help
going to
you.
waste any time.
We will help you search for the goose. More eyes the better. But you're wandering off on your own. You've got no money. If you end in a situation, what are you going to tell the authorities? Or where are you from? Me? Just from another plane. They might not like that. Stick with
Why?
us for the time being.
I mean,
Well,
is it illegal to be from another plane?
That's a great
No,
question.
seriously, is it? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Are you asking the DM this
I
question?
don't believe it's illegal. It
Uh,
is highly frowned
recount-
upon.
Recounting the laws from the last place that Kay learned, no, it's not illegal.
I'll say,
From what I
Vinny, go
know-
ahead and roll me a history check.
Who, sorry?
You.
Me. Cool.
I know it's going to go so well, so I thought I'd
Oh.
ask you.
Well,
Natural
well,
20. Okay.
Wow.
You are aware that being from another plane of existence isn't outright a law. You are, however, aware that there is general discrepancies in treatment of individuals depending on who you are. And you imagine that if Cat and Romulus were to do something wrong in the city, they would probably be detained and potentially harmed more so than Damian or Lloyd would have been. Same could be potentially said for Kirv in this instance, and given she is from another plane, one that you don't entirely understand the details of in terms of her coming from another plane, you can't imagine coming from hell, a place distinctly known for the corrupt and evil, would go down well with the authorities.
How long is this going to take?
Not too long, but we can do this together. All of us can help you.
As we all get stronger and gain more money, we can use the power of money to locate your goose.
Yeah.
Okay, smart guy.
Yeah, tell you what.
I am objectively the dumbest one in the party right now.
No, you aren't.
Am I
Mitchell.
not?
Would not be able to tell that.
Wait. No, genuine question here. What are people's intelligence modifiers?
You have the third lowest.
Okay, that's still pretty low.
And out of the 7 people that are in the campaign overall, including both Damian and Lloyd in this as well, you are also tied for third highest. Oh, yeah, third highest, because 3 of them are tied for second place.
All
Chris,
right,
you can tell me,
who are
am
the
I
dumb
lowest?
fucks?
Yeah, you are the lowest.
Ah!
Oh no. It turns out that Kirv was a fucking idiot the entire time.
Kirv doesn't even know what a fish is. Okay.
That's fair, that's fair. You know, I like to think of it, it's not as a lack of intelligence, it's a lack of context.
I mean, Kay doesn't know what a goose is. He hasn't seen one before. I mean, in Kay's mind, what pops into his head when he hears goose is what Damian explained.
BRB.
Okay. All right. Let's go hand this in. All of us. Then we'll go to the pioneers. Complete the quest. And decide
we
what to do
head-
from there.
If we head back to the tavern after that first, then Kirv will have seen enough of the city that she should be able to navigate around to some extent.
I hope so. I worry that she may get into trouble, not knowing the laws. Of the place.
I mean, it's possible, but I mean, we can't babysit her forever.
It is true. It is true. But then, let's see how she interacts as she comes with us, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Sure.
We probably should, like, put in a request to locate a particularly annoying goose. If we can get, like, a clear description from Kirv and perhaps get a drawing, we may be able to put in an actual request.
Yeah, we haven't actually got a clear description, have we?
I got that it's black.
It's black, and as far as Damian said, it's many wings and many eyes, which is very ungoosely. At that point, can we even advertise it as, can we help us find our goose?
We don't need to
It's
help.
also on fire.
It's also on fire. I mean, how many geese do you know that are on fire? Well, definitely not in this city. The crystals would have put it out.
Not enough.
The geese is the thing to push it over the edge. Ancient fire dragons, nah. But goose, never mind.
Yeah. Well, honestly, it sounds like it's going to be pretty distinctive.
What
It
did I
shouldn't be that
miss?
difficult.
Your goose's fire goes out.
Uh-huh.
Is it okay?
Is
Resilient.
it like a Charmander?
Yeah, that's kind of the thought I was having. If your goose's fire goes out, will it be okay?
It's a resilient thing. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Okay, because this city has a way of putting fire out.
Metaphorically.
Realistically.
Ah.
You can't have fire here. Magical,
just-
non-magical, it just doesn't work. These crystals stop it. Gesturing. Big crystals.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now,
no.
say, taking in the surroundings here, Kirv, you see that the upside of this bridge is what you would see. You expect it to be kind of a barren, expansive place, like you would a normal bridge. But instead, you see what looks to be wooden, stone, and iron buildings built in almost this, just built up on top of one another structure. One house built on top of the next, which is built on top of the next, which is built on top of the next. And they stack up in these high walls to either side. And where you've just come off of the opening here, you can see that it's almost this semicircular opening that leads up to the sky. And the rest of it just begins to delve deeper and deeper into what looks to be a very, almost like a jungle or forest work of buildings. You see people moving to and from. There are lights and lanterns hanging along the walkways here. Crystals kind of lightly floating in them. But as Cat gestures upwards, you can see what looks to be this almost massive, not necessarily cut, but not smooth. Not smooth either, or not rough, not too rough either. What looks to be a kind of pulled 3D teardrop shape crystal that currently floats in the sky with this large metal brace around its center and some chains hanging from it to the edge of the bridge itself.
Is that a star?
No, that is a crystal.
Hmm. She looks
Yeah.
disappointed.
It's a very different world, apparently. So there are things you might not understand, and if you don't, we can help you with that.
Also, you're walking and talking at this point to get to the
Mhm.
cataloguers.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that was mentioned, Kirv, which I think would be relevant to you knowing, is the party mentioned after going from here, going back to the tavern or the inn, so that you'd have a base operations to potentially get to again if you wanted to search.
Okay, understood. Cav replies, I don't need to understand, I just need to get that goose. And keep your eye out for a star as well, actually.
Is there anything else you want us to keep an eye out for? Like, so we've got a goose and a star. I mean, there's a lot of stars.
Is it? Yes. This is
A
a
lot.
specific star. Or
No,
Well-
just a star.
Like a sky? Like a star in the sky?
Well, I don't care really where it's from. I just have someone back home who wanted one.
Star.
Look, okay. Just the goose is the important thing, okay?
Yeah. Okay. No worries.
We'll locate them.
And a star. Just a star. How do you get a star from the sky?
we'll
Oh,
figure
you're a
something out.
clever bunch. I'm sure you can figure it out.
Okay. Heading to the cataloguers, through the dark alleys of Zaker's Crossing, which, for you, Kirv, being your first time, is a unlit area. To you, this feels more homely. There isn't the ambience of the fire that casually exists about the plain, but it's dark. This is what you're used to. This is your home, your territory. And as you are travelling through here, you know there are individuals in cloaks and hoods, shady individuals moving to and from, individuals who are just travelling. And as you are proceeding through the dark alleys, you eventually reach what looks to be a kind of large cylindrical stone building. You note that it goes upwards in and past the ceiling, even though it reaches up about 2 stories worth already. It goes up past it all. You note that on the outside of it is a very poorly written, or poorly maintained, sign that reads Cataloguers, or missing a few letters, something else entirely. Cat and Romulus,
She
you...
visibly eases a bit.
Okay. Cat and Romulus, you were
Uh,
heading inside, or...?
Yeah, go knock on the door and
I can help you. Oh, you're back. Excellent.
yeah.
Come on in, you two. Rest of you stay outside as normal. The door
Yeah.
is opened, the two of you are let in, and it is closed and locked behind you. So, you got back with what you asked to get? And you watch as his visage changes and begins to kind of tear and shift into the Morben form.
Okay, I will use my. I just might use my wand. I'll use my wand to reopen the tear,
Mm-hmm.
and I will take out the 4 jade. Someone else has still got jade. Well, that's a problem to face in a minute. I will hand over the 4 jade, and I will take out the jar with the spiderling in it, and also hand that over.
Excellent, excellent. Takes both of them. Jade's interesting, good to have it, and a spiderling. Interesting. He kind of twiddles it around, the spiderling kind of squished up in the glass, very much looking out. Not looking very well. Did you poke air holes in it?
Yeah, I did.
You did, okay. Right. Thank you. I'll get these sent off and catalogued and get that all sorted. So, that's all good. So your spell has otherwise been paid for in accordance with bringing this back, and I'll have any extra dosh sent over to your accounts.
Thank you. Okay, excellent. Well, hopefully we'll catch up with you again soon. Romulus, did you have anything you needed to hand over? I don't know if you had anything you harvested.
I have gathered a few items. I have a giant alligator tooth, multiple spider eyes in a jar, some giant toad parts. Do any of these interest you?
Not particularly that much. I mean, the live specimen of the spiderling was certainly a good one, but the rest of it's a bit. We've had many of it before. It's probably, if you want to hand it over and lighten your load, then sure, but it's not going to get you nothing, most likely.
Fair enough. I will find someone who can make better use of the items then.
Fair.
Thank you kindly.
If you're looking for someone to work with these sorts of things, might I recommend heading to one of the dens? They might be able to help you out.
Den?
Yeah, the den's folk, or the den's kin, I should say, reside throughout the dark alleys. They're individuals who specialise in particular things. More so talents in certain ways. If you're looking to use spider silk, I'd recommend heading to the spinners. If you're looking to make any poisons with the venom, I'd recommend heading to the den of poisons.
Sorry, I'm just trying to make a note of all these.
Sorry.
Things. Could you?
Sorry, no. If you're looking to use the silk, head to the den of spiders. If you're looking to do anything with any poisons or venoms, head to the den of toxins.
Sorry, it's not letting me type normally because it's being weird. Den of spiders, did you say?
Den of spiders, if you've got any silk or anything you wish to use. Den of toxins, if you wish to make any poisons or anything with that. And then if you've got anything else and you're trying to just get it carved up for potential use, Den of Furs usually does a lot of handling in terms of general management of monster parts. Outside of that, you can head to each of the Den of Claws or Scales for weapon and armor making.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get this written. Then, Den of Claws / scales, weapons / armor,
Armor.
respectively.
Yep, and then there was the Den of Furs for general monster parts.
Yeah.
That should otherwise have you covered.
And
Right.
just to confirm, what's the name of the city we're in again?
Zaker's Crossing.
Zaker's Crossing. I keep fucking forgetting which one we're in because we keep moving between Trell and.
Drell is part of Zaker's Crossing. Zaker's Crossing is just the official name for the bridge, whereas Drell is the bit that's underneath the bridge.
I get that.
Well, if that's
I'd
everything.
like everyone to just a quick reminder. Cat's Crime. Oh, sorry. Just a general reminder because this is in my thing. Cat's Crimes is up to 6 crimes now.
That is. Can't argue.
Holding out for number 7.
Is that true? 1, 2, 3,
If
4,
we
5,
counted at
6.
least 2
How-
for the murder
how
of the
about-
spiders, remember?
How about we stop counting the crimes of
No,
cats?
there's 7.
How about we stop committing the crimes of cats?
Oh, what are we counting? Wait, run through them.
Cat
what am I
took
missing?
more of a share from the party, 20 gold extra. Cat
Oh,
killed a
yes, that
rat.
one.
Cat mutilated a plant. Cat has
Mhm.
squished hundreds of spiders. Killing spider babies. Kidnapping a baby for science / later dissection, which is the one you've just handed over.
I forgot about the baby.
And
kidnapping.
then contemplated murder of Damian.
I'm less concerned about that one, honestly. Because honestly, I've been there.
I'm not going to keep count of Romulus, that'd be too many.
But yeah, that's seven cat crimes then. Okay, thank you. I'm glad we could keep on top of this. It's very important we have a record for when we need to, finally judge Cat for her crimes.
End of campaign 1. Yeah, or campaign 2.
End of campaign. Anyhow.
Well then, I'll let you be on with your business and I'm going to carry on with mine. Have a lovely day, and if you do manage to complete either of those other tasks, do bring the samples straight to me. I'll be able to get those catalogued.
Just a
Will do.
reminder, that was the seed and the other thing.
The clipping
leaf
from
or
the
the-
iron thistle, and then the feather from the, I want to say pygmy phoenix.
They're in our personal chat. I think.
I'm having a look to see if I can find them because I've got them in side missions. Yeah, you took these ones. Acquire a Cindric's tail feather, owned by one of the great houses in Zaker's Crossing, and acquire a steel thistle cutting / seed. Yeah.
Steel thistle.
Yep. Well, have a lovely day, and if you need any more work or business, by all means, come and have a speak with me, and I might be able to get you sorted out. But until then, have a good day.
Have a lovely day.
Opens
Take
the door,
care.
transforming back into a halfling, and otherwise shoves you out.
I will let this happen because if he tried to actively shove me out,
It's
no matter
more of
what's-
an encouragement than
Yeah.
shove, but yeah.
just like so you've got to admit it's an amusing image.
It is. But you both exit back out onto the street, or back out into the dark alleys with the rest of your companions. What would you like to do?
Yeah, well, that's that done.
How'd it go?
Well, he's taken the stuff. Some of the stuff Romulus has got, we need to.
To
sell.
clarify, you only gave him 1 jade, right?
No, he got the 4.
Did he ask for 4? I thought he only needed 1.
He said as much as he could get.
Why would you give him more than 1? We
Because
could have sold those for money.
sell them to who? They're illegal.
Lots of things are illegal, Cat. You should know
Like
that, given
drugs.
all the crimes you've committed.
I have committed.
All right.
Well, it just goes to show you're doing bad job as a parent.
You're right. You should be much better at crime by now.
What?
Do better.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, Romulus, you didn't get it all.
Hmm?
Kay just pulls out his 7 things of jade.
Holy shit.
Wasn't it 8?
Where,
Nope, it was 7.
Oh no,
I
because it
got
was 3 on the
from
table and 4 that you were
and-
given. Yeah.
Yeah.
well. Well done, Kay. I'm very proud of you.
Does smell mildly of fish still.
That'll go off out.
You know what? Here, I'm going to give you one of my tasty treats. Have 3 temporary hit points.
Oh, I can actually have that now. Yay.
Oh wait,
There
does
was
that
a
actually
time-
benefit you?
There was a time that I wasn't able to get
Temporary hit points.
temp HP when you gave me one. Woo,
Fair enough. I'm
60
glad you can now.
Same. That
Right.
bruising hurt.
And here's one for you, Cat, because I want to encourage you to be better at crimes. Remember, don't get caught. And is Kirv still with us?
Yeah.
Have a tasty treat, Kirv.
Aw.
It will, if you consume it, it will A, taste nice, and B, give you 3 temporary hit points. You're welcome.
Okay. Right, so shall we go to the Pioneers and hand this in and get some money?
Indeed, I should enjoy that greatly.
Very good. Okay, then guess we head to the Pioneers. Diddle-diddle-diddle.
Okay. Traveling across the way, going past one of the main walkways leading into the depths of the city a bit more, you continue on through the dark alleys, proceeding across and up, I believe it was, 1 level to get to the top of the Pioneers Guild. As you otherwise head up a walkway and into the surface of it, you can see throughout the Pioneers Guild here, there are plenty of individuals quite happily drinking, chatting, talking. It is hustle and bustle at the moment. Prime time, if you will. As you're otherwise looking around, you can see that there are a number of pioneers currently sat at tables, very much kind of passing drinks from one another, talking. And as you otherwise look around, you make me a perception check, the 2 of you.
Oh,
Are we not all going yet?
perception.
I'll say... Yeah, actually 2 people perform perception checks of you. I'll let you 2 choose. Or 2 of you do it, sorry.
I was already rolling. I'm happy to not take my roll.
Nope,
I'm
that
happy
you've
to
already
not,
rolled,
as
so...
I'm rolling with disadvantage.
I would also roll with disadvantage.
Vinny, do you want to come with?
Yeah.
I mean, all of you are going with, so if
Yeah,
any
we're
of you
going
want
in.
to...
Could I make a perception check for a specific thing? I want to see. I want to see if the people that we met on outside the cave are here.
Outside the cave. Oh, I see who you mean, yeah. Go ahead. I'll say you make me a separate perception check, and then the rest of you, or somebody else wants to do one more. Other than Kirv, I'll say. Because Kirv wouldn't know who to look for.
I'll do one.
Okay.
So I got a 6.
Oh, Romulus. Magnificent.
Mine
Look,
was a
it's actually with a
17.
+4. I just rolled a fucking 2.
Even better.
Okay.
I got a 10 for mine.
You got a 10 for yours, and Vinny?
17.
17. Okay. Looking around the room, it doesn't take you long, Vinny, to spot your halfling pioneer individual, the person who gave you the map in the first place. And Kay, what was your total?
10.
10. If they are in here, you don't know. If they are in here, you currently can't see them.
AC.
We head over.
Okay. Heading over, you can see that she's currently talking to somebody else at this current moment, and you wait a small moment before she kind of waves you all over. So, you finished it then? I had to send in another squad to finish up the job because you'd taken so long. What's the delay?
We met the squad that you sent as we were coming out.
I mean, they said as such. They said you'd done the job. It's just you're delayed. I want to know why. Any
Oh.
particular reason?
There was extenuating circumstances.
That
Fey
was a-
bullshit.
A lot of spiders.
So you came back to restock then?
No, we're done. It's all done.
No,
It's
that's
empty.
what I meant. The
Yeah.
time you
Oh.
came back before you came to
Oh.
restock.
Yes. yes.
Right,
Yeah.
got it. Okay. All right then. Hand over the map, if you please.
Here we go.
Okay. As you hand over the map, she rolls it out and pulls out what looks to be this kind of glass disc with a metal rim around the outside, almost like a magnifying glass, but without the handle. And as she places it in the top right of the map, you watch as these symbols become illuminated in almost this blue light. As she otherwise looks over them, goes, "Okay, monsters have been cleared. Traps still in place. Loot still missing bits and pieces. Not the entire thing explored. Okay. Yeah, that should be good and satisfactory. Not 100%ing it, but by all means doing the job that needs to be done if you've cleared all the monsters out of it. It says no non-target monsters still present. The other squad mentioned something about fleas.
The water fleas.
Oh, water fleas. Right. Fair enough. In which case, that should be all good. So that's your first map completed. Congratulations. And do you want another one immediately to keep you on the ball, or did you want some time in between? I don't mind, honestly. You're still in the. We're still seeing how you do. You did well on this map, so you can have another. You can have another one of a slightly higher range, or unless you think this was on par with you lot. I mean, you did restock, so.
What exactly would we be looking at if we were to go for a higher one?
We've got. Let's see. She takes out a small ledger and begins to kind of flip through, and kind of notes a few of them. And Kat, I'll say, with your experience in Arcana, or those of you who are trained in Arcana, so that would be Kay and Kat. There's the two of you who are otherwise looking over where she's flipping through the ledger. You're noting what looks to be glyphs of containment. Ones that you've seen, say for example, Damian have in his letters before. These are used, and there seems to be something contained on every single one of these pages. Some form of magical something. You don't know what the key to unlocking these glyphs would be, but in this instance, she otherwise flips through the ledgers and eventually stops on one. We've got an old mountain giant fortress. Seemingly abandoned, potentially hidden rooms. Danger is relatively low, but it's got a higher risk to it because you don't know if it is fully abandoned or if the giants might just be out and about and they just haven't come back in a long time. We've got clearing out a sludgeworm nest. That's not necessarily a dungeon, but that one's more of just a standard
Get it
quest.
cleared and sorted.
Yeah,
What's
that
a
one's
sludgeworm?
sludgeworms. Kind of points at Cat. Imagine two of her stuck together in just this big long worm, and it'll eat you whole and digest you slowly.
Oh, great. More
When you're
eating.
inside it, is it possible to, carve your way out?
Difficult. I mean, the inside is harder than the outside, some say. Armored stomachs and
Intriguing.
bleach lining, from what they say, so it burns away your skin and fur. So by the time you come out, if you're relying on anything more natural, like some people do, you won't benefit much from it. Like yourself, for example. Gestures to you, Romulus.
Entirely fair.
Unarmored defense doesn't work while you're inside its stomach. Which means your AC drops to 10.
That's unfucking fortunate.
Yes, and anyone who doesn't wear armor, including mage armor, will drop to 10. So keep that in mind, that 3 of your party will be in grave danger if you were swallowed by one of these.
But,
Doesn't sound
run them-
particularly great looking at your party and the general makeup of what you're wearing
No.
to do that sort of thing.
no.
I mean, the abandoned giant fortress isn't necessarily a bad one. It's a bit out of the way. Other than that, there are reportings of old dungeons beginning to be more re-inhabited further to the north, back towards the Lovato Hills. Not the forests,
North
but the
is
dungeons.
a problem, isn't it, Chris?
I mean, depends. Not that far north. Lovato Hills is north, but it's not too far north.
All right. Lovato Hills is an option. I am. however,
Lovato Hills
curious-
is just here, so it's not far from where you were in Trendle's Rest.
I'm very, very curious about the giant abandoned giant place. But also, the last time we encountered giants, I did get staked through the lung.
Well, that was Cyclops, and we did kind of take their prisoners.
Yes. You know what? I do feel like I'm interested in that one personally. But if anyone here has any, I am like gonna open this up to everyone else. Like, anyone got any preferences?
I like the giant one because I can talk to them if I do find them.
Yeah, where is this giant one?
She has a quick look at her notes. This one is heading to the west. It's southwest of here, near the mountain,
Oh.
range. Closer to, I'll say, based on the map that you know, just a bit further past Felder, so it'll be off this direction somewhere. So it'll be at least a good 2-3 days travel to get there, and that's excluding trying to find it.
Would we have to come back here, or could we go to a different cities?
I mean, coming back here is ideal, but if you want to talk to another Pioneers Guild in one of the other cities, it'll have to be past Zakers, because the Pioneers don't do... They do work below, near Braylin, but not as much.
Right.
Hmm.
But I personally would like to go there for, personal story reasons that would fit well for my intentions for my character.
There's no rush on these, I will say. If another squad picks this up, there will be more missions going ahead, and depending on what happens with other squads, they might come back empty-handed, and it might just end up being an empty spot. Most people that I've mentioned it to so far have turned it down because it's too much of a risk for a squad to walk into a old giant encampment, but at the same time, if it's abandoned, it's most likely got nothing in it. So it's high risk, low reward. So most people
But
are just
equally-
not taking it.
But equally, the risk is not terribly likely. And
Exactly.
The reward is actually unknown. So
Exactly. It's one of those. It's got a bit of a good column A, good column B. It's got its ups and downs.
all right. I personally would like to go for that one, but I do bow to the preferences of my party.
Like I said, you don't have to decide now. You can come back to me later if you've got other business to do.
Yes, do have an auction.
Speaking of, you have completed the mission, and given that you've done this, the bounty reward I will be able to hand straight over to you, and we'll then be able to claim the full price from the quest poster. This is the forward gold that gets paid on completion of the quest. I'll get that for you in a mo. And then we get paid any extra, including some taxation, because of the posting and the success of the mission being posted. She hops down from the table, giving you a little bit of space to think, and wanders off to the desk.
From a purely Harlan perspective, I want to go Rune Knight, so going to the gianty place is fucking great for me.
Are we able to read what's in this book?
She's taken the book with her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the much like how a cataloger would keep their catalogue with them at all times, a pioneer keeps their ledger with them at all times. It's effectively their lifeblood.
Well, when we were looking at it, were we able to read what was on the...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's written in common.
Okay.
I was about to say English.
Ah, very good.
It's written in common, so yeah. You'd be able to read what's on the pages. And looking through, there are a number of them which are mentioned, which are, like, far more dangerous, by the sounds of it. Like, Castle Beneath Lake, and the Ghost-Ridden Keep. Abandoned... abandoned mines, things like that. There's all manner of things, along with what looks to be named dungeons to quote-unquote villains, individuals who have set up residence there and have made themselves known to the general public.
Did I happen to see any in there that may or may not have been like gather this or bring back some of this?
No, pioneers don't seem to be gatherers. Pioneers are go out, clear the space, and then and then whoever wants to have the real estate will then use it for its purpose.
Okay, just curious.
Well, I'm happy to do the giant one. But
Yeah,
I
if
mean,
we have to... Sorry, go on.
no, it's fine. Go on, you go.
Well, if we have to go out and then come back here, then I guess it doesn't really matter which direction we go. So I'm fine with either. But the giant one sounds interesting.
Indeed. I think we'll take that one. We might be able to stop. We might be able to, see a few new places. But if we can find anything there, it might be worth it. Worst case scenario, we don't find anything, but me and Kat get to have a look at some giant runes. So that's even if nothing else goes well, there is a benefit to be had there. More importantly, we do need to be around this place in order to try and locate some of these quests that we have stumbled upon. The Cindric's tail feather and the clipping of the steel thistle. Now, Vinny, once we've accepted this, I think, well, if you'd be all right with it, I think perhaps we should work out what's to be done with your task.
Agreed.
Once that's done, I'll have my next lead. So, since that was the payment we were promised.
All right. When the attendant comes back, we will, accept the giant one.
She tip-taps over and hops back up onto the stool. Right, well, that is... for each of you, she passes you each a small pouch. That is 300 gold or 30 platinum per person. I believe by the looks of it, and for what I understand, you seem to have replaced one with another, so the one who is with you currently will receive his share.
Excellent.
I don't ask questions, but I mean, they're with you, and I assume they're one of your group, so that's how many will receive it. So
fair
each of you may add 30 platinum to your inventory.
Let's go.
Right, that's all good. The next map, did you want to head... did you want that giant one in, or did you want me to wait until something else comes along? I will say, there are other pioneers around here who do sell other maps, but I would be disappointed if you were to go to somebody else. Let's just put it that way.
I think we're keen for the giant one.
Very well. Giant Fortress 1 is of
We're
a...
keen for the giant. Keep getting them from yourself.
Okay, so Giant Fortress 1, that is of a... That is of a tier 3. So the base cost of this will be 75 gold for your entire troop. Not per person, just the entire thing, 75 gold. As you are still in the appraisal phase, you still have to pay for your maps at full price. Once you become more dedicated, you may pay for discounts ahead of time.
75 gold. How many of us are there?
I mean, you've just received 300, so if you wanted to use some of that to pay me back, I can. I can split cash.
Yes, that would be appreciated.
I mean, there's 5 of you, so if each of you gave a platinum and someone gave me 25 gold, then that would cover it.
I will provide the 25.
Okay, so Romulus will provide 25.
I will give a platinum.
If everyone's all right with that, I mean.
Yeah. It would mean that you'd be giving 35 because you would give a platinum plus 25.
Oh, yes, no, that's absolutely fine.
That's fine?
Sorry,
Okay.
I thought you meant because one platinum is 10.
Yes.
So
Yeah. So that would be everybody gives up a platinum, and then Romulus would pay an extra 25.
Mhm.
Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah.
Yep,
yeah,
you're
absolutely.
fine.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
Cool. And same with you, Rebecca?
Mhm.
Cool. So make sure you mark that out of your inventory.
Small benefit. Kirv doesn't know what money is, so Kirv has no fucking clue what's going on.
Yeah, this coin is shinier than the silver one, but it is mildly mistakable. The coloration is similar, but the pattern and the shape is different.
Don't worry, Kay will teach you the way that he was taught. By Vinny.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks, mate.
Okay. With that, she takes the coin, balls it into her hand, and puts her hand on the palm of the book. And as she does so, you watch as the coins disappear, and you watch as she pulls out a long map and hands it to you lot. I will get you a map to this location next time. There are no blueprints for the fortress itself, as the scout who I sent out to investigate this at the time, and I haven't gotten around to looking into it for details because I haven't been out in the field for a few weeks. I haven't been able to scout out the place, so it's a complete unknown. But I have a map directly to the location, which should help you find it. If you are finding it difficult to find it, then if you hold the map up and when it's noon, then there should be a compass that you can use to follow. Most of these maps are inbuilt with something like that, but most of them that don't have directions directly to it don't have it. Basically like this, and she shows you just holding the map kind of directly above herself, and kind of unscrolled, and you can see that as the light from above kind of cascades through the map, there is a compass, and as she turns the map, the compass moves with where she moves against the map. So it always points north.
Interesting.
Rightio. Okay.
It's to stop you getting lost.
That's very helpful.
Right. Well done on completing your last one. Thank you for getting the next one. And if you do take this one, depending on when you come back, I may not be here. If that happens, then speak to one of my associates. I won't be disappointed so long as you're buying when I'm not here. That's all right.
All right. Thank you kindly.
Excellent. This saves me checking out that one. Stay safe. Bring back rewards and loot and stuff. Oh, the ties and conditions for this one is that anything you find that's historical, so flags, tapestries, anything which would be considered art or fine art, is to be handed to us as part of this one. But anything else, including magical items or weapons and stuff, you can keep. If there's decorative sabers, they are a bit of an in-between, so if that happens, then they go to us.
We'll discuss.
Yeah.
And now, just to confirm, will we be paid for each item individually?
Yes.
Or is it
for clearing the place out, you'll receive nothing if there's nothing there. But if there is stuff there, then you'll be paid for each historical item you find, and you will also be paid for each magical item found, but you get to keep it. It's a much marginal and smaller amount for the stuff you get to keep, but you still get paid for it.
And will we be mapping this place out as well for an additional fee?
The map will do that itself, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
in this instance, it will do it depending on how much you explore. Yeah.
Okay.
Noted.
Along with anything you see or generally hear there. If you find creatures, then it will note it. If you find traps but don't disarm them or activate them, then it will note that they're still there, much like it did with my other map.
Would you prefer we disarm them if possible, or?
If it would put you in danger, then don't worry. It's up to you, honestly. I mean, we send in crews after you to clear the place out if it's been correctly
So as long
looked
as you
through.
know it's there, that's the main.
Exactly, yeah. And if there's stuff that's in there that we don't know is there, then that is something that you either missed or didn't encounter, in which case our other group should hopefully see it.
All right then. Well, I think that's everything for today. Thank you kindly for your assistance.
You're welcome. Right, I've got to get to my next lot, so if you would so kindly vacate the table, and thank you very much.
Of course. Have a lovely day.
Take care. Bye.
See you again.
Gee. Gives you a nod, and the next group of individuals kind of come to her table. Okay. So, at this point, we'll say you head back to the tavern, leading the way there fairly easily. You don't get lost. You make your way back to the... Where were you staying again?
What were the names again? And I can tell you which one. I can
It was
tell.
it was the Firefly Stacks. That's where you were
Yes, the
headed.
one.
Yeah.
Firefly.
Okay. Heading back there
I
and
didn't know
through...
if it was Firefly or Butterfly.
Yeah, Firefly Stacks. As you otherwise travel through the kind of the weaving city and the main portions of this, leaving the dark alleys and into one of the cloud windows. And more specifically, the third one. For you, Kirv, you look around and you can see that in the middle of this sprawling city where there is just overlap of building on building and walkways, and you can hear people running and moving above you, which is very concerning, but you can also hear the same below as well as you're moving through this portion of the city until you eventually get to the base ground, which is now on the bridge itself, the hardened stone. You travel along and through one of the corridors until you eventually reach what looks to be this bright section, where a column or a section of the city has been cored out, creating this beautiful window that opens up to the sky above. You see a number of wells and almost these large kind of reservoirs that sit around the area, and you can see individuals with the recent rainfall are beginning to stock back up on water, it would seem. As you otherwise note, barrels are being pushed around and work is very much happening. The party leads you to a beautifully painted wooden building. It spans 6 of the current 8 layers of this particular area. You can see that each contains what looks to be small lights of glistening fireflies that kind of hang behind or just within the windows of this establishment. You soon learn that the layers of this establishment are broken up into a tavern, which resides on the bottom 2, and then the 4 upper layers are the inns themselves. And I'll say we'll go have a quick break there before we get to talking to Firelight. Or Nightlight, I should say. So, take a quick break, go grab yourselves a drink, grab some snacks if you need to, and we'll take a quick 5, and then we will get back to this and the next leg of what you would like to try and do.
Well,
Back in a moment.
Be right back then.
I am back. Who's still here?
My
Anyone else? No.
no.
I exist.
Excellent.
I am doing other things, but I exist.
You exist. Fair enough. So just waiting on a Jamie, Rebecca, and Simon.
Hmm.
Alright. Let's see what you lot do next. We should move into this music now, I think. Now that we've moved into the tavern. It's planning music. That's what you're effectively doing.
Oh, I wanted to ask, would it have been too much trouble to have picked up a fish on the way back?
That should be fine. Yeah, I mean, you passed through a lot of the other areas to get here, so yeah, I'd allow it. I'll say, how big a fish are you trying to make or get?
Kay was interested about the big fish with the pointy nose, so basically a
Swordfish.
Swordfish.
Okay.
He wonders how that tastes.
Was it a swordfish that was here?
I'm pretty sure. Because when we were talking about the fish that I got before for the jade, you thought that I got a really big one, which was the swordfish.
No, because swordfish don't live in rivers, do they?
Oh, so then
It would
I
be-
mean,
it would-
magic world.
how
I know.
about
I know. It would be a pike.
how about an alligator gar?
Alligator gara. What?
Gar.
Garfish. Okay, so alligator gar basically looks like a pike then.
But it's in rivers.
Yeah, I think a pike's in a river as well, isn't it?
Yes, pike is a river fish.
Yeah. So we could go with pike, sturgeon, or a gar.
Oh,
I'm
go
going
for
with
a
the
fucking
gar.
sturgeon.
I'm going with the gar. It's got teeth.
But they look so stupid.
It's for eating.
And it looks stupid.
Okay.
And?
Yeah, we'll go. I'll say given the climate down here, I'd say that a gar would make more sense. So yeah. I'll say you've picked up a garfish and you're currently hauling it over your shoulder. Roll an athletics check to see if you can keep up with the party. It's not really going to matter, but it's just one of those things I want to have the mental image.
Look at this
Double
noodle
nat
nose
20.
motherfucker.
Double. Oh.
Okay.
Is that athletics?
It's a bit of a huff to keep up with the rest of the party, but you are hiking a gar back. Okay, that's a little gar. Gars, by the looks of it, can grow up to be like the size of pikes. If not slightly bigger, so. It's not a handheld one.
Hello, I'm back.
Welcome back. Although stabbing someone with a handheld gar would be fun.
I was thinking something.
K can turn any piece of food into a knife. It'll always do 1d4 damage. It's just him who can do it.
I was thinking of something like this.
Yeah. So something of that caliber, probably not that big, otherwise you physically
Yeah,
wouldn't be able
I
to
could-
carry it.
Yeah, but no, it's still pretty big.
Yeah, a big garfish though. Okay, so you've managed to collect that up. We've
mean-
got Simon back by the sounds of it. Have we got a Jamie or a Rebecca? Have we a no then? Okay.
Then there's also this big boy.
Well, I'm back now.
No, you're back now. Excellent. Yeah, no, you're not having one of those. No, you're fine. Okay, seeing as we've got most people back. Arriving in the Firefly Stacks, heading in through the door, it is bustling in here. Lunchtime has just gone, and you can see that a lot of people are currently just wrapping up their food and finishing off their breaks before they begin to head out for the next leg of the day. Whether that be marketing, selling, or working, you're not entirely sure. But you head inside, and you can see behind the countertop is the one who you are more familiar with, Nightlight. And for Kirv, before you, you see what looks to be a deep grey and blue anglerfish merfolk, although you don't know what that would be. You can see that they have smatterings of makeup and blemishes to attempt to soften a rather horrific complexion of teeth and folds within their face. He wears what looks to be flowing yellow and grey robes, and today he seems to wear something a bit more smart, with what looks to be a for his particular appeal. But as he's otherwise looking rather sharp and seems to be looking around kind of intentively for customers in this particular essence. And you otherwise approach the countertop.
Hello.
He turns and goes, "Ah, you're back. Wonderful. And you've brought your next meal, I see.
Yes.
And who's this? Somebody new?" Looking at you, Kirv. Go ahead and make me a wisdom saving throw. Okay, you need to make one too.
Wait, what? Why do I have to make a wisdom saving throw?
You don't make it with disadvantage, it's just a regular save, so just the left one.
That was a 17 before it kept rolling for no reason.
Yep, well you rolled from a little bit further. So, Kirv, 8 and...
Wisdom?
Yep.
12.
Okay. Kirv, you are... As this individual is beginning to speak with you, you notice kind of the very raw and feral look to this particular gentleman. And there's a lot of contrasting elements to him. But it's not out of place compared to what you're used to seeing from your home. It's something interesting, by all means. Definitely a story to take home, but nothing too extravagant. Mm-hmm. However, you are very drawn in and distracted by the light that dangles just in front of his forehead. And are distracted as you begin to find it a bit more difficult to grasp the full lengths of the conversation. You are distracted for the purposes of this. So who is your fine new friend? If I may ask, of course.
Shiny.
Kirv? You okay?
Shiny.
Hang in there. You got this.
Star.
This is Kirv.
Ah, Kirv. Wonderful name. Am I mistaken?
Hmm?
About what?
Your name.
It is indeed a good name.
Looks at you more puzzlingly, Kirv. And I'll say, Kirv, at this point you're a bit more snapped out of it.
Sorry, snapped out of the shiny.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, not snapped out the conversation. Sorry.
No.
Yes, Kirv. Pleasure.
Yes, Kirv is a interesting name. A double meaning, yes?
Sort of looks at him quizzically.
I've done my time knowing about these things. You must hail from somewhere rather exotic, I take it.
Not exotic to me.
Hmm.
Hey, have you seen a goose?
I've seen plenty of geese, but I imagine the one you're looking for is not any that I've seen. Unless yours has a collar.
Collar? Someone could have put a collar on it. Do you have any paper by chance?
We have napkins.
Something to draw with?
Kind of looks around. Oh, well, I'm sure you, depending on what you would want, I can fetch some ink out of some of the squid.
Hang on.
I got
Okay.
chalk.
I'm not sure that will work on a white napkin, but you can try. Can't say I've ever tried, to be honest.
Okay. I will give my notebook, like the very back page, and a little bit of my non-magical ink.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So how do you know about the double meaning? Kirv says as she starts drawing something.
Well, and he's going to start speaking in Infernal.
Mm-hmm.
I dabble in a lot of languages. It's not exactly rare for someone of my talent to be using multiple things. Different languages, different ways of talking. It's just something I picked up on. Interesting note, to be sure.
And what exactly do you do?
I run the tavern. I'm a keeper of places. Given you're new around here, I take it from the comments and the way your friends are acting and the fact that I've never met you with these friends in a particular group. It's certainly interesting. Besides, I think you stick out a bit like a sore thumb, so to say.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kirv turns the picture over to show him and as well the others. It's a crude picture of the goose. And it says, keep an eye out for this, alright? And I actually have drawn the picture and I'll send it to the chat.
Well, I can't say I've seen any like this before, but it's going to be different. I can't imagine it would be on fire so much. But oh, I love it.
This answers nothing.
Well, it does answer the fact that it doesn't have multiple eyes or wings.
True. Well, it's got horns.
Is by the looks of it,
It does have
has.
horns.
It does it not have multiple sets of wings, or is that a shark fin?
Well, it's fire, innit?
That's true. It's on fire. So it's an angry goose. It's got
I
horns
knew
and
it was
teeth.
on
though.
fire. I knew it was on fire.
This looks certainly interesting. I don't think I've seen any like it myself. But many things do travel through Zakers on the way to other places.
Where would a goose be going?
Depends.
Away.
Has somebody got the goose, or is it running free on its own?
Well, last time I saw it, someone took it.
So then it would be with a person that you're looking for, then.
They had magic.
There's
Some
quite a
kind
lot.
of things that came from the ground. Does that ring any bells?
Like, are we talking plants, or the physical earth itself changing?
Or bones.
Or, do you speak Infernal?
Oh,
He-
still talking
hey,
Infernal.
I thought they switched over because she
No.
was talking to all of us.
Did you want to switch over at this point, Kirv? You back to common, or?
Don't see why not.
Oh.
Yeah, back to common. I guess when I
Okay.
showed and then
So yeah, once you show the picture,
everyone.
everyone, okay, so everyone's in on this conversation.
Bright and green for plants.
Green is indicative of this land, for sure. Anything else about the individuals in question?
It's just the one actually.
Oh. And this...
Sorry,
Interesting.
hot fuzz. Sorry.
Oh,
Ugh,
yeah,
sorry.
I got it.
I'm desperate to use just the one goose actually. So much. Apologies. Yes.
If that's were the
Good to
case,
see him.
I'd recommend trying to check in with some of the druids. They would know more about plant life and matter in that particular area. But
Druids.
there's a lot of them around the place. It could be a lot of different groups.
Yeah, add that to the list. Star, goose, druids.
Hey, Romulus. Does it look like that goose has claws as well?
Talons? Is it a
Yeah.
hawk? A firehawk?
I don't know what I'm looking at.
A goose is a goose. The long neck would not suggest a hawk.
A fire wouldn't suggest a goose.
I know there's no chance, but like, do I know anything looking
It's
at
a-
monstrosity?
It's a goose that's on fire,
With horns,
with horns and
claws,
teeth.
teeth.
What you see is what you get.
This is open to much interpretation here.
Look, all we have to ask people now is if they've seen a goose on fire.
With horns, teeth.
That would
I
narrow
thought
it
fire
down.
didn't work here.
Well, not here, no.
Like I said, there's a lot of places that it will go between. Zaker's is usually a good crossing point, unless you're looking to transport something very undercover. In which case you'd either take it through Drell below, or you would take it through the lake.
Alright, seems like a good place to take a fire goose.
Geese do like lakes.
Are you even
Maybe it-
sure it's on this plane?
I was told that it was on this plane.
I don't suppose you happen to know why the person who took it did so.
Kirv sort of like stands awkwardly and sort of crosses her arms and like, well, it's not a cheap goose, that's for sure.
Nightlight kind of leans in, elbows resting on the countertop, just arms underneath the chin. Go on.
No, I don't think I will.
Spoiled spot. Anyway,
I wink.
okay, if you're... He looks back at you. Smiles, this Cheshire Cat grin of the anglerfish. Kind of the glassy white eyes, just looking back. Okay, if you would be so kind as to give me the fish, and I will get that all sorted for you.
Okay, I'll sit onto the counter. As best he can. It's a big fish.
A mighty beast. This will feed your entire group if you so wish.
No.
No? Are you sure? It is quite delectable.
That's not the fish from the bag.
Oh, is it not?
No, it's a
no,
fresh
it's a
fish.
different fish.
Oh, okay, right. Okay.
Given you're supplying the materials, I'll say that I'll class this as a cheaper feast. How about a gold for the whole thing? Preparation and all.
Okay, we'll hand over 1 gold.
Excellent. And I'll get you a round of drinks too. Otherwise nods and then goes and speaks to one of the other individuals within the establishment, who goes about to get you all a round of drinks and anything that you would otherwise need, as you find yourself a table a little bit off to a secluded section where you begin to talk.
First things first, Mr. Chris.
Mhm.
How long do I have until the auction?
I believe you have... So, you are currently on the 25th of this month. The auction is held on the 28th. So you have half of today, all of tomorrow, the day after, and then it begins on that day. So you have 2 to 3 days.
Okay. So
Which
what
is
do
also
we
the time
plan to
frame that
do?
you would need to complete Vinny's heist, because the amulet is sensitive to the auction.
Ah, yes.
Okay. We have.
So the next one would happen in 2 weeks' time. After that, which would be a bit too long in the future.
What's the plan then? Is there anything we need to discuss, sort out, cover, do?
Find Goose.
Hey, what are other people's plans? Like, we all have tasks. Well, most of us have tasks. Like, is
Right.
Sorry.
We
I will
can
never
put a-
forget Goose.
We can put a request in at some sort of one of the guilds, I'm sure, to keep an eye out for that goose.
Give him the picture.
Of course.
Give him a copy of the picture.
So to clarify, the feathers, it has feathers that are black. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a goose.
Yes, of course. And it's on fire. And are
Yeah,
those
it's a
talons
goose.
there?
Yeah, it's a goose.
And that long neck. Of course.
Actually
because-
unique for its species.
Oh, the long neck is unique, of course. Of course. And if I may, the beak, would you say it's sharp, or does it have those little teeth in it? Or, we've got different geese here, so I need to be sure.
Everything you need to know is in the picture. I'm very good at drawing.
Yes.
Rest
So
of my family.
So I believe I'm seeing a singular tooth there. Is that right?
Well,
One
there's no need to
single
be
tooth?
rude.
I'm not rude. I'm asking a literal question here. Does it have one singular tooth, or what?
I don't know why I even try, and I try and take back the picture.
No. I'm holding it up above my head.
Oh,
You
no.
tell me here and now. How many teeth does the goose have?
Well, I never counted them.
Ballpark it.
Ballpark it? What's a ballpark?
A rough
Okay.
idea,
It means
guess.
give a rough guess. More than one?
Of course, more than one.
Less than 20.
Who's to say? I mean, I've never tried to get that close, okay? You get them in the
Alright, so
pen, you get
at
them out
least-
the pen, you feed them, you
least-
try not to die.
At least 2 teeth. Good to know.
I mean,
And it's
Is it-
the beak seems sharp. Is the beak sharp?
Yes.
Thank you.
Nasty one. Nasty one. Got me dad once.
There's one thing that this picture doesn't say.
Well, there's
How
no
tall
words.
is this goose?
How tall?
Is it like the same size as it is in the picture, or is it bigger? Or look, Kay's still never seen a goose. Okay.
how many Ks tall is it?
I don't think you want to go off of K.
Well,
Use K as a measurement.
last time I saw it, and then like puts her hand to her knee, about yay high. But who knows at this point?
Well, it's only, how long's this goose been missing for?
How long have I been here?
A few days.
Yeah?
A couple of days.
If the goose has
My
grown
boss
much
is
more
very.
in a couple of days,
It's a goose on fire. You never know. It could be the size
it's
of a building.
true. We can't rule that, but it'll be easy to find then, I guess. In the description of this, we've also got to make sure we point out that it has a very angry-looking eyebrow. So it's
So it has hair.
apparently so. Oh God, that's terrifying.
Yes, Jamie is right.
I swear to God, I just put in demon goose and this is what came up.
I love it. Where's
Nah,
the
it's not
horn?
big enough.
There's no eyebrow and there's no horns.
Yeah, it's not
Mhm.
big enough either.
No, there's nothing like a goose.
Oh, I've got it. I've got it.
Yeah, that's accurate. Good enough for that picture. How it feels.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Alright.
so
Okay,
We've,
so
gotten- we've actually managed to get a rough description of this thing. Could I? Okay, first things first. Are we? What? At some point, I need to go pick up a whittling knife because I lost mine with the last situation we had.
Okay.
But then I will whittle a goose.
That might actually work.
Then
Bish bash bosh, bit of magic. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
magic goose.
And then eat it.
No,
Yes.
no.
Even just not even just a little nibble.
I don't know.
Can I eat a feather? Just one.
If it falls off naturally, can Kay eat a feather?
You'd have to take that one up with the boss.
Well, show me to the boss. I'll ask him.
Boss is a very far away.
But also everywhere. Find the crow. Find crow. Talk to the crows.
Find the crow.
Kay knows what a crow looks like. He'll find a crow.
you're inside of a tavern. Are you doing this now or just in general? You're going to look for it eventually.
I'll look for it eventually.
Okay.
Kay's waiting for his sushi right now.
Okay. Okay, so we've got that.
Speaking of, your sushi arrives on a wonderful silver platter. The freshly cut gar is otherwise separated into sushi and the nigiri into the kind of long strips of rice for the nigiri with the gar on top, and the otherwise wrapped pieces of it for the sushi. As chopsticks are handed out to all. Kay is the only one who's proficient in chopsticks, so I'll need the rest of you to roll. Knives and forks are also placed on the table for those who fail.
Kay will be assisting Vinny.
Okay.
Remind me what this roll is precisely.
This is a dexterity check. If you have disadvantage from exhaustion, you can ignore it for the time being. This is just to see how good you are with chopsticks.
So it's
And
not
Kay
a
will be
dex
assisting
save.
Vinny.
Okay, so Vinny will have
I was
advantage.
I was really hoping for advantage because of Danger Sense.
No.
Kirv would be pretending that she's really good. Could I argue for a deception check?
I'll say give me a dexterity check just to see how proficient you are, and then a deception check
Yeah.
for the actual
Understood.
thing.
And I have advantage, correct?
Yes, you do. Okay, so going around the table, Romulus, dexterity check, what did you get?
11.
11. You could use them. It would take you about twice as long to eat something. Maybe 4 times as long, depending on what you're trying to eat. But you could try, and you could slowly begin to get used to it, but you're not a born natural for this sort of thing. Kirv?
14.
You're a bit more used to this, and it's not necessarily that you're used to it necessarily, but in this case, you're used to handling things that are a bit more fiddly in this case. Romulus, where you do whittle, you're still quite big-handed being a Minotaur, so using these non-scaled chopsticks is a lot harder to do. You'd be better off with drumsticks, honestly, because it'd be better for picking up stuff. But that's beside the point. Cat?
15.
15. You're a bit more used to this sort of thing. You're used to handling wands, and so in this instance, something of this type is just holding the wand in a slightly different manner, so it's a bit more, you're used to a bit more, especially being good with calligraphy. And Vinny?
22.
With Kay's tutelage, you are a born natural. He shows you his technique, which by all accounts could be cheating, but it works.
Okay.
Okay. And go ahead and roll me a deception for your I'm good at chopsticks.
This one's really low. Oh, okay. So that's a 17 plus 7.
Okay, 24. Passive insight across the board for all the party. No one is none the wiser, and you manage to use your skills to perfectly time eating it with pretending that you can use it. You manage to kind of feint use it. Successfully pretend that you're using them well. Round of drinks are brought to the rest of you. Smell of the food is before you. And you may eat and chat.
Anyways, what's the plan? Besides for Goose.
Well, I have something I need to ask you guys. So I think after going through with Damian and his memories and like the real possibility of losing people, like when we seem to be constantly in combat, I believe I can create a rune that could possibly bring back someone back if they've just passed.
Well,
Though it's gonna cost a lot,
how much?
about 500 gold pieces of ink and paper, so 250 of each.
That's a lot.
Mm.
But having that sort of insurance there isn't a bad thing. Tell you what, we've still got a few more jobs going on around here. If we did manage to get a hold of the Cindrix fellow, or the steel thistle cutting / seed / sapling, whatever.
You're a bit
then-
quiet there, Harlan.
Apologies. The lower voice, the lower register lends itself to a quieter voice. I will attempt to
Remedy.
remedy this issue, yes.
Mhm.
The word I was looking for is actually the one where you push your voice further forward, but the word for it escapes me.
Project.
Grow your voice.
Project, yes, there it is. Thank you.
I could also just turn you up slightly on Discord. There we go.
Yeah, all that.
Very well.
Fake projection.
Also works.
So, if we did manage to complete either one of those, there would be, to my understanding, a significant reward. However,
It's true.
it's difficult. I suggest we attempt to find ways to either make ourselves stronger or gain monetary compensation over the next couple of days, and assist Vinny in his, what is the word I'm looking for? Illicit activities.
It's mostly staking the place out that's going to be difficult.
Do not worry, I am very proficient with stake.
In a chest.
It was actually the lung, if we're being precise. But also I'm an excellent chef, so I shall stake the place out most thoroughly.
Oh, that'll help.
The only trouble is, how am I going to cook the steak?
Can we
Tell me.
bring a dragon here?
Tell me, have you considered... Are you able to use lightning spells?
Lightning?
Hmm,
Well, I mean, my Chaos Bolt has done lightning before.
Do you think you could control it to produce lightning?
Absolutely no chance.
Absolutely no chance, right? Does anyone here know Shocking Grasp?
What's it?
Is that a song?
No, yeah.
I believe it is a cantrip. Whatever
What's
the
a-
fuck that is.
I mean, everybody can trip.
Indeed, that's why what I found so confusing.
I hate it because sometimes you stub your knees.
Indeed.
Yabba said it.
That doesn't have toes.
Alright, well. what
Hey,
I was
Romulus doesn't
thinking,
have toes either.
If we can't use fire to heat things, lightning is also hot, so perhaps we can use lightning to heat things.
I could try. I mean, if I fire enough of them off, one of them might be lightning, but there's a chance for I don't know. From what I've experienced so far, there's been acid and poison. So
I am fond of both acid and poison, but not in use of cooking, excepting, of course, lemon juice.
But they're spicy.
the spells.
All right.
Hmm.
Well, I'm sorry, Vinny. I may not be able to assist in your staking out. I am unable to cook the steak.
Well,
I
it's a pity,
can-
but no matter.
I
So-
can help with.
Vinny puts up with a lot of our bullshit.
Yeah, the other question is, how are we going to find out about the place?
So
Well,
what exactly is it we need to do?
I am going to get the letter out. I'm going to show them the picture of the necklace.
Okay, so we've got to find this, and it's in a place.
Yeah, it's a noble in the upper levels.
Oh, that's gonna go
They're keeping
well.
him in their house.
I am able to befriend animals. I could perhaps.
Me too.
We could perhaps find some creatures and have them infiltrate.
I was thinking we stock up on cat food or something. See if we can recruit a turncoat.
I
a viable
understand
strategy.
that, well, familiars probably would be noted, but normal animals, much less so.
I mean, Kay will be showing the picture to all of his rats.
Ah, yes, I had forgotten.
Every single one of your rats in
The
turn.
Rat master.
Yeah. So, Kirv, I think this is one of the other times. This is the second time you've seen this. As Kay pulls up his, or otherwise opens his cloak to the front, you can just see that his chest is composed entirely of rats.
Hardcore.
That still looks very awkward
know
without
it.
it.
Oh, can I just give a fist bump?
It's just rats all the way down.
Yes.
Okay. Fist bump.
Notably, Kay isn't physically made up of rats. Just he's got an extra layer of temporary hit points, or quote unquote temporary hit points, known as rats. Should he get hit?
Well, does Kirv know that he's not actually made up of rats?
Well,
I don't think she'd figure that out.
No, not yet.
Yeah,
no, not yet.
he's made of rats. That's how it goes. Hardcore.
Plays Ghost's song Rats on repeat.
I may or may not know that one. We'll see.
I mean, it literally, like 90% of the song is the
Rats,
line.
rats, bring on the rats, rats, rats. Is it that one?
No, I don't think
No.
so. Unless I'm vastly misremembering, which is possible.
Oh, how many
Yeah,
songs are there
the
about rats?
There's a lot. Anyway,
At least two.
at least two. This is true.
Oh, I should have come with you.
Wow, there are as many songs about rats as there are teeth in the goose. At least two.
So, for this last, for the last half an hour of the session, should we move into what you guys would like to do over the course of the next few hours for the rest of the day? Should we say?
Sure.
I
Sure.
would just like to
Mhm.
pick up some wood carving stuff and talk to those various places about the various bits and pieces of monsters I've picked up that need to be. Something needs to be done.
Okay, so you're going to go to the dens then.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody wish to go
Sorry,
with
could-
Romulus to the dens?
I'm gonna go from this to dens in hopes that maybe I can find somewhere I can buy ink and paper too.
What was
Which-
that you were saying? Kirv?
Sorry, would Kirv be able to talk to Romulus quick before they go?
Of course.
Kirv would like to ask, so what's got you so interested in this giant place?
It's very simple.
What?
Sorry.
Romulus is walking away anyway. He's off. He's just
do you mean?
phoning in.
Oh,
You
is
went
it
very
my...
distant.
Oh, that's unfortunate. My apologies. I don't appear to be in control of that. Anyhow. Of course, I will elucidate you as to my reasoning. I need to become strong.
You
Giants.
already look very strong.
Stronger still. Giants are strong creatures, but more importantly than that, I understand that they have runes, a form of magic that, well, even I may be able to tap into. I am hoping that, as well as these runes perhaps providing support for Cat, they may be able to be of benefit to myself as well. And if luck is with me, I may be able to empower myself.
Why do you want to be empowered?
Much like you have a task to locate your goose, I have a task where I must be stronger than other members of my family in order to ensure that as many people as possible are safe and well.
Sounds like my family, to be honest. They're all misfits. But good luck.
I appreciate that. Thank you. We will, of course, do what we can to locate your goose in the meantime. Later on, I will be attempting to whittle a goose based on your descriptions. I will attempt to make it look as similar as possible, but I may need your guidance.
Of course. And you're very good at whittling?
I consider myself reasonably talented.
This needs to be good enough to convince a lord.
I find it unlikely that a whittled goose alone will be able to convince them, but perhaps magics and additional effort on the parts of others may work. We'll have to have a talk about it, I'm sure. But I will do my very best. Worst case scenario, it never hurts to have a wooden goose. Now,
Absolutely right.
I shall go locate a whittling knife.
Okay. So we're going to go shopping through the dens with Cat. Anybody else want to go with them to the dens? Nope. Nope.
They've got a den of toxins.
Den of Toxins is interesting. Which ones are you going to?
My intention was to head to the Den of Toxins, getting up my notes, the Den of Spiders, and the Den of Furs, as those are the ones most important to me to know, or at least to deal with the spider silk, the spider venom, and the toad skin that I have managed to locate. I also have a giant alligator tooth that I would like to make into something of use, but I'm uncertain as to what at this point in time, so that one's kind of on the back burner. Unless you have any ideas. I don't suppose you
Chris.
fancy
Mm-hmm.
a knife.
What is the necklace made of?
Which one? The one from the letter?
Yeah.
Your
Carved of something.
Hold on. A necklace carved like a spiked mouth. So it is wooden with cord and kind of small wooden beads.
Okay.
So think like if you had rosary beads, but then you replaced a few of them that were next to each other with the shape of a spiked mouth.
Well, it doesn't give you much to do with what you're doing currently. But if you're in a crafting mood, I don't suppose you'd be of a mind to make a decoy for this job.
What would you want the decoy made out of?
Just carved from wood. Something so that if the real one goes missing, it won't be noticed for a while.
It's certainly possible. Just to check, when I look at the... We've got a picture of the
Yes.
thing. Can I look at it? What's the closest thing I can think of to what this would be made of that I'd be able to reasonably access?
Wood. It's made of wood,
Re-
so...
It's made of like actual, but is it like a specific color of wood? Is it like mahogany? Is it like cherry?
There's no description other than it being black and white.
Black and white. Okay, so probably...
The image, because it's drawn in ink, there's no description of what the item would look like.
Okay.
You are aware... I believe you were made aware of who was trying to sell... No, because you weren't made aware of who the contact was. So you wouldn't be able to extract extra details.
I can probably make something approximating its appearance.
I'll say this,
Need
actually.
Yeah.
Sorry, sorry for interrupting. I'll say this. Vinny and Kay, please go ahead and roll me history checks with disadvantage, as the two of you would have seen the item in the auction book before it was removed, because they've noted that it was removed. Okay, Vinny total?
13.
13 and Kay?
Also 13.
Okay, so I'll say the two of you combined, kind of thinking about this with the mention of what kind of wood it's made of, I'd say it's more of a lighter coloured wood with darker accents to it. So it's some form of darker core kind of wood, but then the outside is polished. So that will aid in the idea of knowing that it might be potentially a harder wood like oak, or potentially a softer wood, something similar to maybe some form of a darker birch of some form. Maybe a copper leaf.
Right.
Kay will explain it, but has no idea what...
It's just the colour of woods that will be the main thing here.
Yeah.
That lets Romulus know what he needs to know.
All right. I will do my best. I can't guarantee perfection, but something that will hopefully fool a cursory glance may be possible.
Okay.
But I will gather the appropriate materials, with extras, of course.
And
I might as well come along with you to the dens then. See if there's going to be anything useful in there.
Thank you kindly. Very well. Let us be on our way.
Okay. So you three will be on your way to the dens. Kay, you were going to be relaxing, or has that changed?
I do believe it has. No, it hasn't changed. I'm just gonna relax because Kay's still feeling weird.
Okay. So I'll say, for the night, all of you getting rooms for the night, unless you wish to pay for a longer stay. It's 5 silver per person per night, unless you wish to pay for more extravagant, more extravagant living.
More
I guess we know we're staying until at least the auction, so
So that's 3-4 days. That'll
run
be
until then.
3 nights at least, yeah.
1.5 gold.
So how much was it again?
5 silver per. So that will be 1.5 gold for everybody. To everybody to pay for beds.
I don't have half a gold, but
Or you can always convert it down. That's okay.
Yeah.
10 platinum, or 1 platinum is 10 gold. 1 gold is 10 silver, and so on. So 1 gold, 5 silver is what each of you would spend on rooms for staying there. Note that does not include food and drink. And I'll say, Kay, You can spend between, I'll say, 1 and 10 gold, and that will act as a D10 that you can add to your roll. You get to choose the number.
Okay. Can you repeat that? Sorry, I
So-
got just by somebody talking.
You can spend between 1 and 10 gold, and that will give you a plus modifier to your next roll, according to the amount of gold you spend. You can also spend 0 gold if you want to just relax without spending anything. That's also an option.
I actually forgot that my what I was going to do was Kay would have heard of places that people go to relax. He might look around the city and see if he can find a place that can help with relaxation.
Okay. And we'll account that in the 1 to 10 gold for that sort of thing, and we'll do some checks as well when we get there. So you'll be relaxing. Some of you are going to the
BRB.
dens. Okay. And Kirv. Goose? Goose. Understood. Let's start with the simpler things first. So let's start with the relaxation for UK. So go ahead and roll me a perception or investigation check of your choice. You obviously still have disadvantage on this.
Perception or investigation. I think I'll go with investigation since I'm trying to find something specific.
Okay.
That's really good still.
That's really good. Okay. Legal or illegal?
Kay doesn't know the difference.
What does Sudz want Kay to go to?
I would say something legal.
Legal. Okay.
Is
Okay.
it less fun? Oh, hold on. Is it less fun for you?
You don't know. For me as the DM, it's less fun for me. I mean, it doesn't change too much. It just means that the method of relaxation changes.
Oh, yeah, legal.
Legal. Okay. Okay. Okay then. So you would be heading to. Okay. Heading out into the city proper, traveling around the streets and looking through the bits and pieces around the area. You note the general atmosphere, the people moving to and from, the things that people have to say and doing around here. There's eventually a point where you're kind of looking around, looking for things to relax, mild entertainment, things to just chill out. As you find what looks to be this rather large area attached to one of the windows. As you otherwise kind of wander in, you note that there are a few places that you could go. You note that one looks to be that of a kind of a large open front building, columns, and individuals standing outside, and what looks to be a listing of things outside. Some form of plays, some kind of drama from what it would look like. A theatre, if you will. Another looks to be that of a museum, something to kind of look through and enjoy and just take casual strolls through to understand and all that. Something not necessarily as leisurely and relaxing, but something that could still aid you, but wouldn't cost as much as the others. And finally, one which looks to be almost this rather, not necessarily shady, but it doesn't look like the best storefront for a bathhouse of some kind.
I think Kay would be more interested in the bathhouse than any of these other things.
In the bathhouse?
Yeah.
Okay. So heading inside, you see that the where the outside is quite meh. It's not very well kept, and the doorway's there. It's not very clear that this is a establishment, but as you otherwise head inside, the interior is a lot more pristine than the exterior. The floor is a little sticky. As you do kind of step in, you begin to feel your feet slightly stick to the flooring here. As you wander up, you see what looks to be a elven individual. He's got his hair otherwise tied up into a into otherwise a bun at the back, at the crown of his head, as he otherwise looks up and sees you enter, stands up to his full height, and gestures his hand to one side. Please do come in. It's a pleasure to meet you. Good sir, you are...
Okay.
It is a pleasure. Would you be looking for a private bath or a one for public use?
I would prefer private.
Very well. That would be 2 gold then, please. And you may pay extra for extra commodities if you wish, such as warm towels, bathrobes, scented soaps, etc.
Just to give me the best chance, I'll throw in 10 gold total.
10 gold. Okay. Okay. Throwing in the full 10 gold, you are taken to a private section, private cubicle, and you are let into a private bath. You let them know that you are not to be disturbed, and the rats run free. As you climb into the warm scented water, what looks to be kind of general petals and bits on the top floating around. You otherwise climb in, it's nice and warm, and immediately oils begin to seep off of your body. Of all of the decay and stank that you've climbed through, including the interior of a toad, over the past month of adventuring, begins to peel off of you in waves. The water's not going to be clean by the time you've finished it.
I don't feel sorry for whoever has to clean this. It had to happen.
And all of your rats begin to also peel off and are now clean.
The one thing I would like to do while I'm here,
Mhm.
I would like to use one of my biological resilience
Mhm.
to be able to speak rat.
Okay.
And I gather all the rats together.
Mhm.
The picture you guys saw earlier.
Yeah.
I will be going to a particular area. I would like you to search every house that is in that area to find it. If you can get it, also grab it and bring it back.
We'll do our best.
Aw.
Just let us know where we need to go.
I will.
I will say, as a general note, that you do know which house it is.
Oh, I do know which house it is?
You do know which house it is because it's marked on the map, so you have narrowed it down to one particular household. It's just that when we went through that was weeks ago, before when we had Lloyd.
Okay,
So-
so then not every house, just
No.
that particular house.
Yeah. And
Understood. We'll do our best once we get there. Okay. Otherwise, you enjoy your bath. Go ahead and roll me a d20 and add 10 to it, as you have spent 10 gold for the extra relaxation here. Okay, 26. You find that relaxing for about 4 to 6 hours very much helps, and you feel your skin begin to loosen and feel a lot lighter than it used to. And as you kind of begin to move and shift, you're finding your body feels a lot more relaxed and loose. Your joints don't tense or seize, and you feel comfortable. You put your clothes back on, which you have otherwise been cleaned for you and left in the changing room, before you leave the establishment clean and smelling nice.
That's gonna be a surprise for the party.
As do all of your rats, as they are now also all clean. I will say, actually, as part of this,
Yes.
you note the following. A number of your rats have cracks running across their tails, dark purple cracks.
Oh, if then when I do notice that, I would like to investigate them and see if I can tell what the hell this cracking is.
Go ahead and make me an Arcana check. This is with disadvantage still, because you would still have 1 point of exhaustion, which you'll recover tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Arcana.
Mhm.
That is a 19.
19. Looking across, you can see that the cracks are stationary and present, but not continuing to grow or shift. By the looks of it, and by the word of the rats after inquiring about it, a number of them were struck by the magic when you interfered, as they were on your person at the time. So a number of the rats have been affected by this, but you do not know to what extent. It doesn't seem to be
Nice.
an affliction that's going to grow or progress. It seems to just be something more of a scars. Magical burns and scars.
If that's the case, Kay would. If there's a mirror or anything here,
Mhm.
Kay would like to check the inside of his mouth and see what that looks like.
Looking at the inside of your mouth, now that the interior of your mouth has grown back along with the tongue, you note that the interior of your mouth, where all of the kind of the skin runs across, where there would be kind of the lumps and bumps of what would be blood vessels or veins, are black cracks that run all the way down the extent of what you can see of your throat. You also note that your teeth have a lining of what looks to be kind of this dark purple energy that runs on the interior of the teeth themselves.
Well, Kay's gonna have to have a conversation with Kat.
Okay. So, that is your relaxation done. Kirv, as you begin to wander the streets, searching for a goose, how do you go about it?
Do I still have the picture?
Yes.
Okay, can I look around and see what kind of people are about?
Where would you like to stick to? The darker places or the lighter places?
Darker places.
Darker places. Most of the people around seem to be fairly keeping to themselves. They otherwise wear mostly cloaks, a few of them wear hoods, and otherwise they're not necessarily fancily dressed. They are workers through and through.
Okay, I run up to the first one I see
Mm-hmm.
and just show like, oh gosh, like I'm selling watches, like, hey, have you seen this goose? And shows them the picture. And
Roll me a persuasion check.
that is an 11 plus 7. 18.
7. Going up to some of the peoples nearby. Instinctively, their first reaction to you running up to them is they take a defensive stance, and a number of them do draw knives when you rush up to them. It doesn't faze you too much. You've
Nope.
dealt with a number of muggings and stabbings in your lifetime, but you've always shrugged them off. But in this instance, as you rush up to them and kind of do the hey and show them a picture of a goose, a lot of them look confused. Not surprising, of course, but they look confused and very much caught off guard by it all. And none of them seem to know anything.
Okay.
And if they do, they're keeping it to themselves.
Can Kirv find like an official looking person, like maybe a guard?
Down here, go ahead and roll me a perception check with disadvantage.
What kind of check was that, sorry?
Perception, please.
Okay, so that's 7. I think that would be a +2. Yeah, so
Yep.
that's 9.
9. Looking around, there don't seem to be any guards down here, and given that people are drawing weapons on you when you approach them, would suggest why. But in this particular section, there aren't any guards, there aren't any people who look official, per se. There are a number of people that would be considered bouncers for clubs and stuff down here. But they're kind of keeping themselves, and they're in small groups, and they're more heavily armed than the others. If you wish to approach one of them, you can.
Alright, she approaches one of the bouncers and basically does the same thing. Hey, you look important. Have you seen this goose?
The individual in question. Okay, I need to quickly roll to see which one you find.
Good one, hopefully.
Okay. This particular individual seems to be that of a larger, stockier individual. Now, a lot of people are different up here. Now, obviously, devilish-blooded people are all different in their own ways as well. But this individual is large, stocky, broad shoulders, now nearing 8 feet in height. The individual otherwise sits there what looks to be almost this large, cruel greatsword to their side. And as he otherwise sits there, kind of just keeping an eye out, he sees you approach him and kind of reaches for his greatsword, but as you have otherwise asked that, he goes, I don't know anything about goose, no. I know they live on south side of town in farms, but not in here.
South side of town, you say?
Yeah.
Kirv is going to go there.
Okay, it is a 4-hour walk.
How big is this town?
It's 15 miles from
Fucking
end
chunky.
to end for the bridge, and you're in the middle of it, so if you want to
It's a
walk
real
there...
chunker. An absolute unit.
Yep.
Is there any... Sorry. Is there like a faster way of moving through this place?
Running.
Running, that is a correct answer. But
Catapult.
unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be a feasible way to get there. I will say that you will note that you will have to pass through it in order to get to the giant ruins or the abandoned giant fortress that you're planning to go to. So if you're willing to wait a number of days, you could all go as a group and you can interrogate the farmers there then.
Interrogate?
That's why you got the rest of the party for.
Should just keep on picking up each individual goose, like, nope, 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 nope.
Throwing them all over her shoulder.
Yeah.
Manhandling geese.
Pick up one and it bites back. Oh, you're close. Throws it.
Maybe.
You make an attempt, but not enough.
So I'll say, over the course of the next few hours, looking around and asking around, there doesn't seem to be any leads. No one knows anything about the geese, and the only thing which is mentioned is that to the south of here there is farmland. Individuals who keep geese, keep animals. It's possible asking there.
Okay.
Okay. And as we move to the rest of the party, who are going to the dens.
Indeed.
So,
Den.
indeed. Which one are you going to first?
I believe the den of spiders is the one that I'm least sure of how long it will take to do anything with.
Okay.
So I think den of spiders would be best.
Okay. Heading into the den of spiders, heading to the den of spiders. It doesn't take long to find it, and most of these are in the dark alleys. The den of spiders, as you otherwise approach it, is notably very close to the edge of the wall. And as you edge of the bridge, I should say, sorry. As you do approach it and otherwise head into the interior, you note that it opens up to the outside world. Very much so. It's one of the first proper big windows you've seen outside of the ledges and dedicated hang cages. But as you head inside, kind of the wooden timber interior supported by these large metallic supports, you can see the interior is otherwise lined with a number of spider silks that hang across the area. Large, otherwise sheets of cloth, various see-through ones and less so see-through ones, of linens and silks and gossamer threads and all sorts. As you do head into here and begin to kind of take note of this particular section, there are a lot of individuals working spinners and spools. And you can see what look to be all manner of materials. Some plant matter, some what look to be kind of unrefined silk, and in some cases some which look to be being pulled from a series of glands that are set up in jars with tiny pinholes that seem to be pulling and spinning it into spider silk threads.
That's gross but cool.
The individuals around this establishment, for the most part, as you look about them, a number of them are human, as makes up the majority of the population in Zaker's Crossing. But you also take a wide note of what look to be a number of dwarves, a number of elven-blooded individuals, but most notably the Tarakin, the Taratan-esque people.
Ahaha. I will go up to whoever appears to be someone I can actually talk to who is not terribly busy.
You head up to the nearest one, and looking at them, there's a number of them out throughout here working, and you can see that there are a few that kind of lean up against the edges and have weapons on their hips. You can see what looks to be a fairly open nature of we know how to protect ourselves. I will say, Cat, most notably, you notice that the majority of the people here who look armed are carrying daggers or rapiers. Notably of which, a lot of the ones who are carrying daggers also carry various arcane foci. Meaning that the majority of people in here are casters.
Interesting.
As they continue about their work, you approach one particular individual, what looks to be kind of a... it's difficult to tell as you've not really seen them too much, but a younger male, Tarakin, otherwise looks over at you, and as you otherwise approach him and goes, "Ah, can I help you with anything, gentlemen and young lady?"
I have some spider silk that I would like processed, if possible.
Of course, we deal in all manners. Would this be from gland, or would this be pre-extracted?
Pre-extracted, I believe.
Of
I'm going to pull
course.
out the... I believe this is from my backstory, so it's been a fucking while, if I'm remembering correctly.
Didn't you already
100
have that
feet-
one processed into the rope?
No, I got a lot from it, so I got...
Oh, so you
the
got some
rope
into the rope, and then you
processing, and I
kept the
had-
rest as unrefined. Yeah.
So I have 100 feet worth of extracted silk.
Hmm.
I was wondering what could be made out of this amount, or
There's
whether this could be used in conjunction with anything else.
There's plenty that could be used for this, and depends on what kind of utility you're after. We could make about, from this, for every 4 square feet of this, we could probably make a good rope, I should say. We can make about 20, from this rough amount, I'd guess somewhere between 20 and 30 feet of rope. Outside of that, we could, with this amount, also make a garment, if you will.
A garment.
Something like something like a sleeping shirt or a robe, if you're so magically inclined. Alternatively, it can be used for things like scarves or napkins or handkerchiefs, if you will.
What would... other than its fine quality, does it provide any specific benefits?
It is well comfortable for those who practice in magic. Spider silk is highly sought after as being one of the better forms of materials. It aids in an individual maintaining an air of concentration about themselves and helps them focus on their magic a bit more. Of course, on its own it's very limited, but with the aid of an enchantment can be very much bolstered. Spider silk is very receptive to magic, in fact.
Would your premises deal with the enchanting, or would I have to speak with someone separately?
We would be able to get it worked in conjunction with the Den of Shards if you were looking to get it enchanted.
The Den of Shards. My apologies, I had not heard of them before.
That is quite all right. We deal with the spinning. If you are then looking to get it tailored into something specific, the Den of Strings, who are adjacent to our own, would be able to make it into something you might want for dressing. And then if you wanted it enchanted, then the Den of Shards could handle it from there. If you were looking to simply have it made into something more simple, say a rope or fine twine or string, that is something we can do ourselves.
Sorry, I'm just writing down Den of Strings and Dens of Shards.
I think there's like 40 of these in all that I've made.
Fuck
So
off.
I was bored one day and I found a
get
medieval
it.
list
I
of
get
200 different professions and listed them down.
I
Some of them.
get it, that's fair. Right. Cat,
Yeah.
would you benefit from a robe?
A robe?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've got my cloak and I've got my hood. and
Okay.
jumper.
Here's a better question. Chris, would with a bit of extra enchanting, would Cat benefit from this from a spider silk robe?
Without enchanting, getting a spider silk robe made would cause your concentration checks to get a +1 bonus. If you were to then
enchant?
without enchanting.
Oh, without. Okay.
With enchanting, you get to add an enchantment to it, which could turn that into a +2 or a +3 bonus, or alternatively could apply to your spell save DC, your spell attack roll, could aid in giving you additional hit points, could increase your AC and saving throws, depends on the enchantment you want.
What would be the overall cost, roughly?
If you wanted to get it turned into a robe, the cost as you are providing the spider silk would be simply for these services. So it would cost about 200 gold to get it made into a garment, which would then be befitting to Cat's size. If you then wanted to get an enchantment, it varies depending on the level of the enchantment and what you're trying to achieve. A protection enchantment would run you about 6,000 gold.
Cool.
A amplification enchantment for your for spell casting and modifiers would be about 3,000 to 4,000 gold. And then if you wanted a focus enchantment for concentration, given it already has the innate ability to do that, you'd have to go for a +2, which would run you about 10,000 gold, but it's cheaper than its original cost of 20,000 because you've already got the +1 attached.
Right. So the options that I'm seeing here is either and how much would be to just sell the silk I have?
The silk you have, you could probably sell it for about 400 gold.
That one seems like the better option right now to me.
Keep in mind that if you then wanted to buy a spider silk robe, it would cost you about 800 to 1,000 gold.
Yeah.
So, because right now you're providing the raw materials, which they would then just work on. You'd have to wait for time and cost. If you then were to bought it pre-made, it would cost quite a bit more.
Right. So the entire 100 feet of it would be enough to create the
robe.
The robe.
Yes, correct.
Does the robe count as armor in its own right?
Nope.
Okay, so it's not going to interfere with mage armor.
Nope, not at all.
What are your thoughts, Kat? This is going to come down to yourself.
Would you be able to line my cloak with it instead? This is kind of sentimental.
The lining and reweaving an object with a existing material is much more of a tricky process. It could be done, but the fee would be higher, and you'd have to take that up with the Den of Strings. If you wanted it simply processed, that would be, quite simply, 50 gold to get the whole thing processed. It would then be about 150 to 200 to get it made into a robe, but lining an object is more difficult. I can find someone from there who might be willing to converse with you on this matter, but it will probably cost far more than just getting a new robe.
Right. I'm willing to spend... I've not got masses of money, but we've not divvied up that 50 platinum pieces, so there's a little bit of wiggle room there. what I'm considering at the moment is selling this and then seeing what else we can do with some of the other bits and pieces I've got a hold of.
Now, you will still be able to wear the cloak with the robe. This would just replace the jumper.
Well, that's definitely not going to happen, considering the ties that the jumper's got.
Fair enough.
I don't suppose there's any other
Wait,
kind
now,
of...
now here's a thought. What about a horse shawl?
That could be done.
Maybe done like a scarf. I mean, wouldn't say no to a long scarf.
A long scarf could work. I mean, it would cost less, but it would also be less effective. I can't imagine it would help you much with your concentration.
Mm.
It would lose its innate ability for a +1, but it would still maintain its effect for if you wanted to take it to a +2 later. It would also be cheaper. It would be 150 instead of 200 gold.
I mean, the way I see it, like the robe is worth it because it gives you the +1. A scarf feels kind of, if it's not going to give you any benefit immediately, I don't think it's quite worth it. If I'm being
No.
Right. Well, in that case, I'd like to sell this this silk to yourself.
Of course. I will go and get the mistress and she will handle the payment.
Thank you.
If you could wait 1 moment. And he otherwise dashes off, and you watch as he jumps to one of the main support beams and skitters up it, climbing up to a next layer, and then almost switching back on himself for a little bit before he comes back with what looks to be this otherwise a darker skinned elven individual, very reminiscent of a silk spinner in this particular instance, as the individual otherwise approaches, large spindly spider legs helping them climb and navigate down the main beams as they climb over and stop just in front of you. You are looking to sell, was it?
Yes, I have some spider silk that has been extracted but not processed. I thought this place fitting to sell it. Is that correct?
That would be the correct place, yes. It is of a fine quality. How much were you offered prior to this? I offered 400 gold to them as a cost for this, given the amount that's here. That would be about right.
Very well. I will. Can I do a quick insight check?
Go for it.
Just to make sure I'm not being like hustled here.
Go for it.
I presume not, as this sort of establishment probably works a little bit on stuff. Ah, it's depressing. 9.
It's hard to tell. This is the dark alleys, and in such a case, theft and crime is around, so it's possible that you are being scammed. But in this instance, the promise of 400 gold is better than you've been carrying it around in your rucksack for about 9 months now.
Been a while.
So at this point, yeah, you might as well.
Sorry. Sneezing. Apologies.
Bless you.
And
Sorry,
that is the end of Romulus.
So for the
Sorry,
transaction...
Yes,
Sorry.
400 gold pieces. I was going to say 400
400
platinum
platinum.
pieces. Like,
No.
no, that's
No, but they do trade in platinum, as it is lighter and easier to carry, so you are given 40 platinum.
40 platinum. Thank you kindly. It's been a
Excellent.
pleasure doing business with you.
And you, good sir. Now, if you please, and gestures to the other one who otherwise goes back to work, I have other business to attend to.
Of course.
If you see anything you like, then by all means, ask.
How? Obviously, I'm not going to buy anything at the moment, but how much does it cost for just thin but strong spider silk thread and or wiring or twine? Just like, what's the thinnest to strongest ratio it can do?
Hold on. I would need to check how much, given the time.
Yeah, you know what?
I'll
Let's ignore
say
that. We'll get to
it
it
would
later.
be slightly more. It will be more expensive than a ball of string in the items section of the handbook, but it's not going to be But for something like that, it will just go up in price for the meterage effectively. So,
Okay.
silk rope is usually 10 GP for 50 feet of it. You'd be looking for a ball of twine, or ball of string, which doesn't seem to be in here. So in this instance, I would say probably for string wise, which would be thinner, but it wouldn't be as strong. I'd probably say it'd be about the same cost for the same, for slightly longer. So for about 100 foot of string, you would be about 10 GP. But
10
it wouldn't.
GP,
But
right.
it wouldn't be as strong. It'd be about a little bit stronger than regular string. If you wanted
Right, could I-
like fishing wire stuff, then you'd be looking probably 100 gold.
I'm actually genuinely tempted by the fishing wire stuff, simply on the basis of setting up a very thin but relatively strong trap, like with a lot of threads of that, is pretty. It's got its benefits.
It'd have a lot of uses, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, and that'll be 100 gold, and that wouldn't necessarily, and that would be fairly strength retentive as well because it is thin. But it'd also be one of those things that you couldn't add your strength to it, otherwise you'd risk cutting your hands.
Here's what I'm thinking. Could I get? Yeah, can I get both? So 110 gold pieces.
110 gold pieces for 10 GP's worth of 100 feet of regular silk string, and then 100 GP's worth for 100 feet of high strength silk string.
Yep.
Yeah, so go ahead and add those. Okay. For the sake of brevity, you move on to the next one, which was going to be
toxin, poison,
toxins.
I've got venom. I would like to
Yeah.
process it or make it better or sell it, whichever seems most applicable.
Most applicable is one of your party liable to use poisons and start using them.
I am perfectly willing to cover my Danax in all of the poison.
Okay. In which case you can add processed spider venom. I'll say 25 GP. It is a vial that you can apply to a weapon, which will do an additional 2d6 damage. And I'll say you get. I'll say roll me a d6. This will be a d3 that you get to manage to process out of the glands that you have, and it'll be 25 GP each. Okay. So unfortunately, due to the slightly damaged quality of them, you do only get 25 GP's worth of spider toxin, which is a 2d6 poison damage, just as a hit. When you hit, you do that bonus damage. And it's a one-time thing, but it doesn't fade after it's been applied. So keep that in mind that it will just last on until the first hit. The Den of Toxins, notably, is run primarily and almost exclusively by dwarves. Most of whom are, you note, have almost a rubbery skin to them, and a number of them have mushrooms growing out of there where their beards would be.
I'm sure that's fine.
Yeah. It's notably odd, and I'd say, Vinny, given your more travelled nature, you know of this, and this is a particular kind of dwarf that cultivates mushrooms to grow from the roots of where the hair would be. And if you were to cut and separate like a section of the mushrooms off, there would be hairs growing on the inside that act like supports for the interior of the mushroom. And it is a specific art which is very rarely seen because these individuals are disliked by a lot of people. But they do good work with poisons and toxins. And finally, the Den of Furs.
Den of Furs. It's not quite fur, but I've got the giant toad skin.
Yeah. I'll say heading into the interior. As you do, Vinny.
Mm-hmm.
As you otherwise head inside and begin to kind of look around, a lot of people begin to make eye contact with you. A lot of people.
Is everyone horny for Vinny again?
No.
No,
As you
it's-
enter, a large number of individuals begin to stand and draw weapons. And that is where we're going to end our session for tonight.
I just pick up Vinny like, what did you do? What did you do?
I just wanted ink and paper. I got nowhere near that.
Well, I think here
I
we
got
might be.
combat.
Well, no, see, because here we might get some like monster inks or like from like, I don't know, giant octopuses and shit. So that's probably good magical use ink.
Monster ink would be a high value ink, so it would work for the purposes of your runes.
And there'd also be like vellum and parchment made from
From
the
specific
skin,
hides
possibly?
and skins, yeah. So
Good
that would
work.
also
Well,
be.
we can. All I need to do is figure out what it is these people think I've done, and then figure out whether they're right or not,
Yeah, well,
and then we'll be fine.
Then we're golden.
that will be for
Or-
next time. So, for the stream, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and we will see you next week when we will continue the story and the madness therein. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
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 Bye.